Hyderabad is the capital and largest city of the Indian state of Telangana. Based on the Deccan Plateau along the banks of the Musi River. Much of Hyderabad is situated on hilly terrain around artificial lakes, including the iconic Hussain Sagar Lake, predating the city's founding. Hyderabad is famous for its historical landmarks like the Charminar and Golconda Fort, a majestic citadel with rich history, known for producing diamonds like the Kohinoor, Hope and Regent. Historically, Hyderabad was a global center for diamond and pearl trade and earned its nickname City of Pearls. Since the 1990s, the city has emerged as an Indian hub of pharmaceuticals, biotechnology and information technology. The Telugu film industry, based in the city, is the highest grossing film industry in India in recent years. The world-class Ramoji Film Studio, located on the outskirts, is a testament to its contribution to not just regional cinema, but catering to pan-India cinema as well. The talk about Hyderabad cannot be complete without a mention of its cuisine. For the record, the city is listed as a creative city of gastronomy by UNESCO. And if you ask why, just sample the world-famous Hyderabadi biryani. Sport is an integral part of the city's culture, and the Hyderabad golf course is a famous landmark in the heart of the city. Based against the backdrop of Golconda Fort, the course plays host this week to the 18th event on the PGTI calendar, the Telangana Golconda Masters 2025. The cut this week fell at even par 140. 55 professionals made the cut. Angad Chima from Chandigarh ended the second day in third place at 12 under 128 after he matched the day's best score of 62. Akshay Sharma, also from Chandigarh, signed a 64 to continue in second place for the second straight day. Akshay's total stood at 14 under 126. Bangladeshi golfer Jamal Hussain extended his lead to 3 shots with a stunning 8 under 62 in round 2 of the 1 crore NSL Luxe presents Telangana Golconda Masters 2025. Jamal, the first round leader by 1 shot, who has been bogey-free in the tournament so far, took his total to an impressive 17 under 123 on Wednesday.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the penultimate day of the Telangana Golconda Masters 2025 here at the Hyderabad Golf Association. We are joined here, I'm Rahul, and we are joined here by Shivas Nath alongside Swami, who are going to be commentating this week for the penultimate day and the final day of the Golconda Masters. It's moving day here, and the players are really making some moves. Jamal Hussain stays atop the leaderboard at 20 under par after the first 6 holes of the day. Akshay Sharma follows him at 15 under par. Jamal made his way into the lead of this tournament with rounds of 61 and 62 to come up to 17 under par and lead by 3 shots, and now extending it to 5 shots as we take the proceeds of the day.
Thank you, Rahul. It's an absolutely wonderful golf course, the HGA, a very historic site, and the wonderful Golconda Fort surrounding the pristine fairways, greens, and the lovely water bodies. And, while you all have all tuned in, a quick word of appreciation before we move on to the action. 25 degrees, of course, here, gorgeous weather. Appreciation for the team at HGA and the PGTI who have worked tirelessly to get this course up and running for this event. There were some tremendous rains last week, and the course has recovered beautifully. And how? Kudos to the team running the event from KGA and PGTI.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the biggest news of this week is that Chandrajit Yadav ended up making a hole-in-one on a par 4. This is the first ever hole-in-one on a par 4 on the PGT of India. This came around on the 15th hole. In fact, our leader Jamal Hussain also made an eagle in the second round on the very same hole.
No, it's a tremendous hole, Rahul. Most of these guys might even hit it across because it's got an elevated tee. So these guys are getting it 280 yards with about a 3-wood.
as we have Arjun Prasad on the screen, who is currently at 8 under par and 2 under for the tournament.
Arjun Prasad 2 under for the day. Some good rounds going out there. You have Thangaraja, who's 4 under after 12 holes. He's got a good round going, but of course, all eyes on Jamal Hussain from Bangladesh, who's set the course ablaze with a 61 in round one. It's Rahul Renford and a 62. And today he's 3 under after six, so very much on track to put together a very, very solid round. Closely followed by Angad Chima, who's at 15 under for the tournament, 1 under for the day. Sorry, I beg your pardon, that's Akshay Sharma. And Angad Chima at 12 under and even par for the day. This forms, of course, the final group. All of them on the seventh hole now. So some action lined up. It's a good day out there. The breeze isn't up yet, so it makes great scoring conditions. And look at the visuals: gorgeous tree-lined fairways. Fairways absolutely lush green.
It's hole number 10 here at the HGA. A scintillating view here from the camera.
This is a tremendous par five. It's about it's about 500 and I think 10 or 15 yards from the tee, and very much gettable in two.
As we take a look now at Arjun Sharma, the professional golfer who comes in from Greater Noida. Packs quite a punch behind the golf ball with a little draw that he likes to hit, and finds right the middle of the fairway.
And that's a tremendous tee shot. He's just placed himself perfect on the right of those two solitary trees in the middle of the fairway. That does come a bit in play sometimes, and that adds to one of the features, because the distances these young men hit the ball, Rahul, a 515-yard hole is up for the takes with a solid drive and maybe a long or a midish iron going into the green. Fairways, of course, are a bit soft because of the the rains that we had here last week. But all in, course is playing tremendous. Greens are holding beautifully. They're stimping at the 9.2, which is a good, healthy speed. And it's interesting. We were chatting with the guy setting up the course on the weekend just before the pro-am, and they didn't want it to stimp any faster because these greens have a lot of contours, so it could be very severe also if you get greens to be very quick.
Take a look there at Manu Gandas. Manu, who has been a number one on the PGTI of India in the past, currently at 3 under par for the day through his front nine and 9 under par for the tournament. At fourth position on his own, he's made 4 birdies on the front nine and a lone bogey on hole number 7. We take a look now at Yuvraj Singh. Yuvraj Singh, who comes in from Kapurthala, one of the former top amateur golfers of the country. Finding some form here is Yuvraj with a drop shot on hole number 8, the par 5, currently at 7 under par for the tournament, tie for 11th position. Yuvraj Singh packs quite a punch on the ball. Raw Punjabi Munda, as they call them.
He is a strong lad, and I think he's got it past the trees.
I think he's hit the ball out into the stratosphere. Even the cameras are finding it tough to find it.
No, indeed, great work by the camera men and the production team out there. They do a wonderful job. Not easy to spot the ball hit at that speed, and the skies are a bit gray as well. So kudos. Here's a great visual. Here you have a look. Some nice water bodies, great features on this course. It's Rahul, just a 22-year-old course, and for the amount of work that's gone in, and the way this course has just improved year on year. Really, enough praise cannot be showered upon the team at HGA driving this whole program.
Absolutely. In fact, there couldn't be a better setting for a championship, which is called the Telangana Golconda Masters, than the Golconda Fort right in the background of this golf course. We take a look at Arjun Prasad now, who's had 2 birdies on the front nine to turn at -2 and currently at 8 under par for the tournament, putting for birdie here on hole number 10. As I gather news from the players, the greens are playing in terrific conditions here this week at the Golconda. We get back with the live action. Here we have Yuvraj Singh coming in from the fairway here on hole number 10. This is his second shot onto this par 5. It's a brilliant shot there by Yuvraj, leaving himself just about 15 or 18 feet for an eagle on this par 5.
That's a tremendous, drive he's hit. As we saw visually, it's a very narrow gap. Gets particularly narrower with the overhanging branches of those lovely, gorgeous trees. So there you go. There you see it. And that tree, of course, comes in play only when someone has hit an errant drive and you have to lay up. But he's absolutely found the shoot down the middle with his drive and done very well with his second shot.
The HGA this morning looks absolutely lush for the week and almost hurting the eye, isn't it, Shivas?
No, it's absolutely gorgeous. Course is playing tremendously well. Fairways are soft, great lies, and here we get a great visual of the landscaping as well. The tee, of course, at the back there. Then they have this kind of filtration uh, area, which has again been very nicely beautified. Vast open green fairways. As you said, the trees are gorgeous. And the great surround. You see the city in the backdrop, and it's a very interesting course. Probably one of the only courses in the world which is set up inside a fortress.
In fact, our viewers would, it'd be an interesting understanding for our viewers that the course, half of it is actually inside of the Golconda fort, and a lot of the land actually is reclaimed land from marshes. And this is what when human beings get together and put the intention in the right place, this is what they can really create. Look at that! It's just absolutely amazing what they've turned this marshland into.
No, in fact, I was told that parts of this area were also, well, an unofficial dump, where people were just leaving waste. And 22 years ago, there was a team that went across the government and explained that they'd restore this area, set up a lovely golf course, and it'd be lovely, not just in terms of environmental benefits, but even create great employment for the people in that area. Also enhance the tourism because, as we know, Hyderabad and Telangana is right up there in the world in terms of setting up businesses and business hubs and back offices for many multinationals. So definitely, a very well thought out and implemented project, and they're doing better as we move. They've acquired some additional land, and their larger plan is to now convert this into a par 72 and redesign a couple of holes to include the few additional acres that they have managed to secure.
Well, currently a par 70 golf course, but really speaking, don't take it for the length of the golf course. This golf course can play pretty challenging, as you can tell there. This is only, even though this is a par 5 and not very long at about 510 yards, we've only got Yuvraj Singh on the green, and Manu Gandas has taken a while to get up over here. And Arjun Sharma, seems to have his golf ball down there into that rough. And as you can see, that rough is pretty much gobbling up the golf ball and the
It is
club
juicy.
too.
It is juicy. This is going to move a bit right to left, I imagine. Very well done. It's feeding down towards the hole. That's very good touch.
Phenomenal shot there by Arjun Sharma, setting himself up for a birdie here. Be a good opportunity there from about 5 feet away. Shaurya Bhattacharya making an eagle on hole number 2. Birdies on hole number 6 and 8. With a lone bogey on hole number 7. Another birdie on hole number 10 to be at 4 under par for the day, to be at 10 under par for the tournament. Tie for 4th position alongside Lucknow's Rajesh Kumar Gautam. A man who cannot be stopped today, has already made 5 birdies and a lone bogey on hole number 4 to be at 10 under par, tied alongside on 4th position. So is Divyanshu Bajaj, who's been fighting to find some form himself over the past 2 years, and finally seems to be finding some also at the same position. Angad Chima is at 11 under par with 2 drop shots now on hole number 6 and 7. Needs to get something going for himself. As we take a look now at Yuvraj Singh, who has set himself up for an eagle.
Well, Angad's been in great form this entire season. He won the final event of the first half, as we call it, the front nine of the PGTI tour, and definitely being at 1 over, he's lost some ground. And in fact, he's the only one in the top 10 or 12 that is over par for the day. So he'll need to get something going, but he's got plenty of holes left. He's finished 7, still has 11 to go.
Well, I guess it's just like a little bit of a hiccup for Angad. He's actually won back-to-back events in at the start of the back nine of
As well.
the PGTI
Yes,
of India.
yes, indeed.
Yuvraj Singh coming up for an eagle from about 15 to 18 feet away. That ball's going to move a lot from the right to the left and leaves himself with about 3 feet for a birdie. That ball curved quite a bit. Shivas didn't really appear like it's going to turn more than a grip, but it seems like it almost moved almost a puddle length.
No, it did. This green actually has a upper shelf and a lower tire, and the spin is cut just below the tire. So, again, unfortunately, on television, we don't really understand the massive contours and the elevation changes because it's obviously a 2D. That's been very famously said about Augusta National US Masters as well, that, while we see a lot of it on the television and the broadcast when we enjoy that wonderful event, we have a situation where people who actually have been fortunate enough to go there, like our co-commentator, Mr. Swami, the elevation changes are very significant. And this course as well has a lot of elevated tees and a lot of airtime for the golf ball. Ball carries about 20, 30 yards more than, and the air's thinner there as well because it's well above sea level.
Well, absolutely. In fact, we take a look now at Manu Gandas. Manu also has set himself up for a birdie here on hole number 10. He's got good about 18 feet remaining for himself. This ball's not going to curve as much as Yuvraj did because he's coming pretty much down the line with the hole probably at about 6 o'clock, while Yuvraj was coming in more from the right side, which would have made the ball curve a little bit more. Take a look at Manu Gandas, former number 1 here on the PGT of India Tour.
Manu's plied his trade as well as number 1. He did get to play on the European Tour as well, the DP World.
The DP World, yeah. Of course, that experience, second to none for Manu, and I think he still plies a lot of his trade at the DP World Tour. And see, that one, that really didn't break at all, Shivas. That would be an interesting thing for our viewers to watch, that as you move towards the right side of where Manu's ball was, that ball is going to start curving a lot with, as you can tell, that slope on the left side of the screens. And you can really say now that Arjun's ball is pretty much going to be a dead straight putt, or maybe even a left center putt for that matter.
It's very interesting because, as I was mentioning, the elevation changes because of the way the course is built around the fortress. So there's also a lot of greens that flatter to deceive in terms of the way you read the line because of the way the water flows. Because certain areas are just high up there and some are just fairly low. And what is very interesting is just the way the grass grows, and that's again a particular special skill, Rahul, as you would know yourself, having played at the highest level. That it's not just always what meets the eye, but it's also watching the elevations on the right and the left of the greens. Well done. He certainly learnt from Manu's putt.
Arjun Sharma moves into 7 under par after a little bit of a hiccup on hole number 8 with a double bogey, bringing 1 back on hole number 10. Now moves to 7 under to be tied alongside others at number 12.
Interestingly, of course, while we're on hole number 10, my favorite hole on this course is literally the next hole, hole number 11, which is no more than 100 yard shot, par 3, but that green sits above, the tee is actually at water level, and the green sits a good 30 meters above the tee. So it's a very nice elevated shot. Wind is usually right to left, and I hope we get a visual of that during our broadcast between today and tomorrow. As we take a look at Yuvraj, taps that one in comfortably for a birdie. Moves to 8 under par to be at 9th position as of now in the 3rd round. Well, a quick word about our title sponsor, NSL Luxe. It's good to see new sponsors coming to support PGTI events. So big shout out to the team at NSL Luxe and the NSL Group, of course, builds legacies across agriculture, infrastructure, and luxury real estate. So a big shout out to them and a big thank you on behalf of golfers, professional golfers, and our viewers. Thank you for supporting
professional golf. Well, NSL Group, headquartered in Hyderabad, is a diversified Indian conglomerate with leadership across agriculture, infrastructure, textiles, sugar, and allied businesses, and luxury real estate. For over 5 decades, the group has been shaping industries and building legacies that last. So interesting to see new names coming up here in the world of sports. As we take a look back, we've got Cullen Joshi on the screen here on hole number 10.
Yes, Cullen playing alongside Gaurav Pratap Singh and Divyanshu Bajaj. And very interesting.
Cullen having quite some time of his own at 1 under par for the tournament, 10 under. 1 under par for the day and 10 under par for the tournament. 2 birdies on the front line and a lone bogey to start the day keeps him at that position. We take a look at Gaurav Pratap Singh. Gaurav Pratap Singh quite not having what we would call the most favorable start. Currently 1 over par for the day, 7 under for the tournament.
You know, I absolutely love these rock formations and the landscaping.
Divyanshu Bajaj here on our screens coming up from just off the fairway here. Windy day at Hyderabad, as we can tell. Divyanshu, who has been working really hard on his game over the past 2 years, trying to get back into shape with his game. Currently at 11 under par for the tournament. With birdies on hole number 8 and 9, as well as 5 and 1 lone bogey on hole number 4, the par 3. Cullen Joshi coming up from right in the middle of the fairway on this par 5.
Cullen himself at 10 under, and he could use a strong back nine to move up the leaderboard and close the gap on the leaders. But that's said and done. At 20 under, Jamal Hussain comfortably the 5 ahead is nearly 10 ahead of Cullen, and Cullen himself is at 10 under for the tournament. Seems to have left it short of the green.
Not quite pleased with that effort as we now call upon our co-commentator, Mr. Krishnaswamy, out into the hot seat.
Welcome, Swami, and I shall take a lovely coffee break.
Brilliant shot here on the screen. Lots of wind coming up from behind on this hole. The par 3, as Shivas was just mentioning, his favorite hole. That is the look of the hole that he was talking about. 30 feet below is where that tee box sits. We take a look now at Yuvraj Singh coming up onto this hole. Yuvraj Singh with a very peculiar way of addressing the golf ball. One hand tied behind his back. Frees it up now.
Thank you, Shivas. Thank you, Rahul.
Swami, always a pleasure to have you join us here in the commentary box. What do you think about the proceedings here at the Hyderabad Golconda Masters?
I just think Jamal Hussain is trying to run away with the tournament, even with more than a day and a half still left there. Twice runner-up this season, Jamal. He's been actually quite consistent through the season, except that he hasn't had a win, and he could very well, make up for all those close misses this week.
Jamal has already had 2 second-place finishes,
That's
finishes
yes.
this year, and of course he's got a strong backing. He's been a very consistent golfer as such for all of the years that I have known him, and right now, as we can tell, he's gone through 26 holes bogey-free. And that is just absolutely commendable. No matter what golf course you're playing in Hyderabad, the HGA is no walkover. So what do you have to say about that? And with your experience, I mean, how many times do you really get to see a player going so long without a bogey? We take a look at Manu Gandas.
Again, Manu Gandas twice past champion here, and look at that shot.
Or a brilliant shot.
This is the kind of golf that these guys have been actually producing. No wonder the scores have been really low. 21 under already, just 2.5 rounds. So you can well imagine 61 and 62 in the first 2 rounds, 9 and 8 under for Jamal's so far on the first 2 days, and he's already 4 under through the first 8 holes.
Seems like Gaurav Pratap here on hole number 10 has laid up on this par 5. He's coming up with a wedge for this hole. Gaurav is a very good wedge player, in fact. Be interesting to see where he lands up, although the spin is not at an easy position at all.
Rahul, as the scores might be really low, making some wonder if the courses are too easy for these professionals who are of a pretty high quality. I actually would like to clarify that these guys are also hitting the ball so well, straight in the fairway, and actually finding the greens unerringly. I think the quality of golf also is a testimony to the skills that they possess. No wonder the scores are so low.
Not quite pleased with that effort is Gaurav. And we've got Divyanshu also from that same position. He's also laid up on this hole. Fondly called Bunty.
Actually, all these boys have upped their game, considering the amount of money that's available to them.
Well, I mean, I think the factor of the finances is one, but along with that, Swami, I think the pedigree of players has really changed. The young lads who come into the tour and turning professional now, they're really they go all guns blazing. As we see now, Divyanshu has come up with a superb effort with his wedge, using the slope to get closer to the hole. He's left himself a good about 6 or 7 feet for birdie.
Yeah, he needs to hold quite a few of them, with Jamal at 21 under, 6 shots clear of Akshay, who's also had a consistent season. He's not been able to close a deal, but is nevertheless very consistent. And Angad Chima, of course, he's had a couple of bogeys today. Otherwise, he was very much up there. He had bogeys on 6 and 7. The first 2 days, 66 and 62. So a lot of 8 unders and 9 unders and 7 unders. So I would say all these guys, if anyone can still make a bid for it.
The players here this week are playing for a prize purse of 1 crore rupees. Colin Joshi just short of the green over here. It'll be interesting to see how the ball reacts. A windy day here at the Hyderabad Golf Association. 126 players teed up at the start of this event, 122 professionals and 4 amateurs. And 55 players made the cut, with what 8 players tied at the 47th position. And
How much
Cullen
was the
seems to
cut
be
there,
going.
Rahul? How much was the cut there?
The cut went at even par for the
Well,
week,
look at that.
and so absolutely superb display of golf for all of those who have been fortunate to watch the games at Hyderabad. We take a look at Cullen Joshi. Cullen seems to be going with more of an aerial approach for this shot. I would have thought that he would go for more of a bump and run sort of an approach, but I think Cullen seems to be going more of the airborne route. And he's done brilliantly. Cullen Joshi setting himself for a birdie.
Exactly. He made the right choice for himself at least. That was a very good one. Good control there.
Absolutely. In fact, some of the international names also who played this week are Czech Republic's Stepan Danik and Sri Lanka's Enthangaraja and K. Prabhakaran. We've got Bangladesh's Jamal Hussain and Badal Hussain. Jamal, of course, leading the way of this tournament. Nepal's Subhash Tamang, Italy's Federico Zucchetti, and we've got Ugandan Joshua Seal. Local players, of course, have been Mohammad Azhar Rupinder Gill, Rahul Malik, and Vishesh Sharma.
There's a fair amount of local talent there in Hyderabad. Actually, it's the emergence of these golf courses there in Hyderabad and this tournament, which has been a very consistent one and regular one, that has led to a lot of new players coming in and a lot of young amateurs turning professional and now playing for money. And the money, of course, as Rahul will testify, is pretty good now, a far cry from the days when he was playing pro golf.
Absolutely, the amount of the prize money has certainly grown magnanimously over the years, and so has the competition in the sport. And like you mentioned, I think golf isn't a very old sport in the city of Hyderabad, even though Hyderabad has actually been a city which has produced a lot of athletes in the past.
Yeah, it's
With a lot of
rich
badminton
legacy of sport.
talent. We've
Rich
also had
legacy of sport.
Absolutely, rich legacy of sport, rich legacy of pearls. And talking about pearls, unfortunately, that wouldn't drop into the hole for Gaurav Pratap Singh. So he will have to settle for a par here. As we take a look at Akshay Sharma, who's at second position at 16 under par.
He's just made up two strokes. He got a birdie on the ninth where Jamal dropped his first bogey this week. So a two-shot swing. Suddenly the six-shot gap now is four. So anything can happen in golf. I mean, six shots seems big, and four doesn't seem so big, because another swing of this nature, and the way Akshay has been playing, very consistent, keeping the ball in play all the time, sticking to the fairways, having a word there with Angad Chima in the background.
Especially when you've got 27 holes to play.
That's right. Still a lot
Jamal
of golf
Hussain
to
with
come.
somewhat of a Scotty Scheffler's footwork there and find himself in the fairway. Jamal would never have trouble finding the fairway. I've known him for years and I don't think he's ever missed a fairway in front of my eyes as we take a look at Angad Chima. And I think, was there some amount of the commentator's curse here, Swami?
I know. I was about to say that. You said it first. You just mentioned 26 holes without a bogey, and there he goes. 27th, he picks one.
I think I should just stay quiet. Unfortunately, as
The nature
just
of your job doesn't allow you.
that's exactly what I was about to say. Angad Chima now coming up on the hole number 10. Angad with pars on hole number 8 and 9, trying to catch a birdie here on the par 5.
He's had a good season. 2 wins back to back. One at the end of the first half of the season, and then one to begin the second half. So yeah, I mean he's been pretty solid too.
That's a pretty big drive for Angad Chima, almost splitting the fairway into half.
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
We get back to the live action here. We've got Colin Joshi putting for birdie on hole number 10. Colin, of course, finding the bottom of the hole there. Now moves up to a score of 11 under par to move alongside Angad Chima and Divyanshu Bajaj at third position. Of course, this is early days. We still have 27 holes to be played by the leaders. So we are very far away from understanding and deciding who the winner is going to be. But having said that, Swami, as you were mentioning about the three-shot spin that happened on hole number 9, that kind of a spring is just that was because the vision here from the cameras, with all the friends, fly over the left leg. Thomas, and also because I agree, that's because using the cell phone, the walls, the effect of all of the lacking creative this, but pick rear up and give it the big whack that he does.
And I'm sure you saw parts of the fort right behind the tee box there.
Well, absolutely. History has
Quite
its own way
actually.
of showcasing itself here at the HGA.
I was hearing both you and Shiva's waxing eloquent about this golf course. I've actually loved this golf course. I've been there a few times, and it is such a great place. And they've done a fantastic job. And they said it used to be a dump pit in certain parts, and they've actually kind of made good use of it. I was taken around there by their kind of course advisor, who was redesigning some parts of the course, Nandan Hebliker, and they've done a great job out there. And the clubhouse is coming up also. I mean, I think it must be nearing completion now. And of course, Hyderabad's food is incomparable.
Well, absolutely. Food, of course, is one of the highlights of the city, with all of the biryanis that we know about, and of course all of the Mughlai cuisines that Hyderabad is famous for. In fact, people from across the world come down to this city to enjoy its cuisine.
So there's Jamal taking a drop there. I think they're playing preferred lives again this week.
Yes, and that would leave us with a situation that even if you were to break the course record, you will not really break the course
Yes.
record on paper. And that brings me to who holds the course record here, Swami, at the HGA.
I think
It's a
it's
little
61. Wasn't
That's
it
a little
Jamal?
trivia for you.
No, you please go ahead. I mean, obviously you looked up the books.
Manu Gandas holds the course record here at 10 under par. In fact, this was the year 2022 when he won the tournament at a total score of 23 under par. Even if Jamal Hussain Maula is to break that.
Is there any event that Manu has not won between Manu and Yuvraj Sandhu, who's actually not playing this week here because he's doing some international duty? So between the two of them, they won virtually every venue. They won at least once or twice at every venue.
Jamal Hussain going with a hybrid club, trying to go two onto this hole number 10, trying to get that shot back from the golf
Well,
course,
there
and he
you
does
are. He does
beautifully.
get onto the green. A fantastic shot there.
Setting himself up with a stunning look at an eagle. Jamal Hussain about 25 feet away from the hole.
There's only three par fives here on this course. Top par 70, the 6th, the 10th, and the 17th. So Jamal wants to make sure that he's picking up greens there. I'm sorry, I just overlooked that. 6th and the 8th, please. He's already caught birdies on the 6th and the 8th. I'm sure he doesn't want to miss out on the 10th too.
Absolutely.
Sorry, so there are four.
You know,
Par
as
fives are what look like treats for these kind of golfers.
in fact, that's exactly what I was about to say. That these are the holes where the players are trying to catch the shots. So each of the players, they are always trying to make eagles and birdies on these par fives. In fact, making a par is pretty much a blemish for them. We take a look at Divyanshu Bajaj coming up on to hole number 11 and does beautifully with that wedge. A wind is blowing like no one's business there. Very hard to control a wedge shot in such a windy condition. As we take a look at Gaurav Pratap Singh, who is no stranger to good wedge shots. Gaurav Pratap also trying to look for his third victory on the tour. It's been, I think, 2 or 3 years since he won his
Yeah,
last
it's been a
event.
while, and I think today is the moving day when I'm sure they all want to move in that direction towards the trophy and that big, huge check of rupees 15 lakhs
I mean,
that awaits the winner.
my experience about moving days is either you move upwards or you move downwards, and some of them just trying to move around to stay within the
Sideways.
business.
It's like the market, isn't it? Sideways movement, upwards and downwards. But here they are. They've all found the green, isn't it?
It's not Gaurav Pratap's best shot, but he should still have an uphill look at a birdie here.
Manu, back to Manu Gandas.
Manu currently playing hole number 12 is at 10 under par for the tournament, 4 under par for the day. Still has a lot of work to do to catch the leader. He's 10 shots away, but we can't say anything, like we were speaking about the two-shot swing. If you look at par fives and par four, some of the reachable par four, the players are to make eagles over there. Anything is really possible, and this man is the one who has actually made a course record over here of 10 under par, and that too without any preferred lies, right? So you never know what this guy can do.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to kind of get back to those memories. And another thing that I noticed, so here it goes. Nice one. Yes, he's given himself a reasonable chance, but I'm sure he probably expected that to be a little closer to the hole than it was. It is. You look at the golf course, it looks like an overdose of green. Just such fantastic. It looks like a lush carpet.
Isn't it, Swami? I almost feel like I should be wearing my sunglasses looking at the screen. Unfortunately, that wasn't
that
Arjun
wasn't-
Sharma's best effort.
Exactly. So that, I'm sure he's a bit disappointed with that.
Well, it seems like The HGA here still has its guards up
Interesting style there from Yuvraj, isn't it?
as he's trying to stay, I guess, open with his shoulders as he sets himself up to the shot. Hole number 12, Yuvraj Singh from Kapurthala. Yuvraj making a birdie on hole number 10 and a par on hole number 11.
He had a stellar amateur career, and I always felt that he could have turned professional a couple of years before he did, but he was still representing India in various amateur events, and now I maybe this is the right time. Of course, golfers know exactly time to settle down.
Absolutely. I think, Yuvraj sort of turned pro at the right time. In fact, you're absolutely right. He has had a stellar showing as an amateur golfer and has played many years of international golf representing the country in various tournaments across globe.
One of the positives about, say, an amateur career is that they get to play at some of the great international golf. Of course, the quality of golf courses consistently improving in India too, with a lot of relaying, redesign, etc. coming up in many of the courses across India. And the good news is that PGTI is taking its tournaments to various parts of the country where many times, youngsters get to see these top Indian stars and hopefully they get inspired by them.
What I find really encouraging is the fact that the tour now moved from city to city, and various of the B tier and the 3 tier cities as well. Come to think about all of the next gen events that are happening
Yes,
on the
yes,
tour, and
that's a
it's just
fantastic one.
absolutely
Next
fantastic
gen
that the
event.
tour moves to these new locations, and some of them actually very old locations for that matter. It's just they're extremely unknown on the golfing map, but
For example,
it's great to see
a
them back.
Digboy is almost iconic.
Absolutely. In fact, I don't know if you've ever been to Digboy and
Yes,
seen the
I
golf
have,
course
just
over there.
once.
It's absolutely a fabulous track to be played. It's got a great layout. The course, the conditions on the course are also very good each year that the tour
There's
goes there. In
legal,
fact, the tour goes there again this year. It's one of the most longest standing events on the PGT of India's calendar. And this year, the
there
prize
is an
purse here is
eagle
one
putt
CR.
there. No, just breaks too early a little bit.
That's
I'm
your
sure
leader,
he's
Jamal
disappointed a
Hussain.
little bit.
Jamal coming up just
He
about.
actually never gave it a chance, unfortunately. So a birdie is what he can best get.
Jamal leaving himself just about 2 feet there for a birdie. As we take a look at Akshay Sharma and Angad Chima.
This looks like to me his one of his favorite shirts. Last week, also he was wearing this shirt on a couple of days, or maybe he's got quite a few of them. These days, of course, Jamal is very staidly dressed as compared to many of these young stars.
As I now call upon my co-commentator Shivas Nath back onto the commentary seat.
Thank you, Rahul, and good to be with Swami in the commentary box. A nice coffee and a nice, very happy state of mind.
You look at
Really
there
energized.
from the edge, from the apron there, Akshay. He's cut that lead from 6 shots to 4, and he is very close. Just about a foot, taps it in. So I'm sure he was probably looking to try and gain a shot on Jamal at this place too. Unfortunately for him, and of course unfortunately for Jamal, I think Jamal also has a good birdie chance there. Can't afford to let go of these gains on the par fives, especially on a course which is yielding a lot of low scores this week.
That
Soft
really
course.
soft course. Exactly. I was just going to come to that, Swami. Because of the rains, the balls are being received beautifully on the greens, drop and stop. And
So
also
you've got
with
to be a
their
good putter. You've got to be a really good putter because each mistake you make, can cost you a lot. Even if it's a par, sometimes the par is too less. And here's an eagle putt for Angad Chima. This is a chance for him to move into sole third if he can hold this eagle putt.
Yes, he absolutely needs to get this one going. He's 1 over for the day, and this needs to get him back, and will give him some good momentum. He should have learnt a bit. It's a good putt. He's over borrowed, and but still, nonetheless, a good solid tap and birdie. Nothing wrong with that. An eagle would have been, of course, nicer. That brings him back to even par for the day.
But still, now will move up considerably, just behind the two um, kind of runaway leaders, Jamal and Akshay.
Yeah,
Jamal,
Sangad.
there's something fascinating about Jamal. I mean, he walks so kind of calmly, doesn't hit the ball a mile, but he is so soft in his hands, and he actually is quite a good short game specialist, and smiles all the lot. But I think he should be winning far more than he has.
No, you're absolutely right. I was about to say that he just seems to be a happy camper. You always see him smiling, very genial. A solid birdie there. So that now takes him to
There,
21
see that
under.
lovely animation right at the bottom right corner.
Ah, birdie, I like that. Kind of reminds me of the old days of Channel 9 and the duck.
Yes.
You remember the famous
Yes,
duck?
exactly. So it's
Yeah.
a nice innovation there by the TV production team.
How lovely. I was alluding earlier during our commentary that, these rock formations and these features, they just are so
Oh, yeah, so
beautiful.
natural. I mean, it's like they've built the course. They left things as they were naturally, and they built it around that. So it actually makes for a fantastic golf course. Gary Player once said, "But I like using whatever natural stuff there is around, and kind of build the golf course around it rather than uprooting them, taking it off, digging them up, and then putting in something which is not natural."
No, you're absolutely right. That's, I think, the mark of a good golf course designer and someone who's, experienced golf worldwide, and he's been a global ambassador for the game. Because, the natural terrain is where for millions of years things have been in a
There
certain way.
is
So unless there's no point disrupting nature.
Yuvraj. Okay, no mistake there. Nice.
So hole number 12, of course, for many of our viewers who might not know, the tee is very high. It's on an elevation. It's up on a hilltop. You get a great visual, ahead of you for a group of 5 or 6 holes, which I think is from the 12th to the 16th, which is within the fortress that you
Look
see
at
there.
that.
Beautiful
It
out
is
there.
so fascinating. Yes.
It's
Look,
just stunning.
I can't believe it. I mean, I don't think too many golf courses in this country or anywhere else have such a backdrop.
The other one that Swami has insane backdrop is absolutely my favorite is the Gaikwad Baroda golf course,
Okay. Yeah.
where they have the Lakshmi Vilas Palace.
Unfortunately, it's not big enough for championship.
Only 10 or 11 holes, but what a fabulous backdrop, and I really hope Samarjit Singh, who's of course a patron for golf and of course from the royal family there, Maharaja, he uses more of the palace grounds and extends it to an 18-hole course. It would be stunning. It visual treat. It would be a tourism magnet. Can't say enough about it.
I hope he's hearing you, Shivas.
And he's done a lot for sport. He's even assisted people like Anirban Lahiri and Vijay Devecha set up a top class golf foundation and an academy there, and provided all the support infrastructure wise and otherwise to ensure that there's something there for the future of Indian golf.
So Jamal's got back one short as Akshay missed a birdie there out on the par 5-10. Will Jamal hold it? So he's back to a 5-shot lead. Anga Chima picks one shot on the 10th. So he is at 12 under. Of course, a big, huge gap between Angad and the two leaders, the top two, Jamal and Akshay.
Well, here we are at my favorite hole on that golf course, the 11th. Absolute, it's an absolute gem. It's pure incline from the tee.
But tell me, is it
30, 40
is
feet.
it the golf course that tempts you, or is it the food in Hyderabad?
Well, I'm actually there for the food. Golf is a reason to get out there for the food. But that's an done. AG has got a tremendous clubhouse. It's, I think, about 50-60% ready. It's a new clubhouse. They built the golf
I
course
actually
first.
saw that a few months ago, about 6
Yes.
or 8 months ago, and it's got a beautiful view from there.
Stunning, absolutely. Overlooks the second green and the 18th green and the first fairways. Beautiful view. And everything in between there with some water bodies too as well.
Look at those buildings there. They're one of India's top cities,
Oh,
just over the fairway.
that's going to be a very interesting putt coming down because you see they've got tailwind today. The flag is fluttering and the breeze has
There,
picked up in the
look
last
at
hour.
that.
So he's probably, you don't want to short side yourself, and then the wind has kind of,
Let's see how
helped.
our leader does this. Jamal actually, it's been a while since Jamal won, I think.
That looks nice. Has he got the yardage right? Yep, he's got that right, and this will move left to right, and it will be a touch quick because the green is sloping. When we face it, of course, left to right, and there's a big mountain, so that's the way the water flows, that's the way the grass grows. It's going to be an interesting putt. But of course, I'm more concerned about Angad. He'll have to show a lot of skill because he's barely overshot the green, but he's sitting in probably what I would term as the first cut. A lot will really depend on how the ball is sitting out there. Might get the benefit of the preferred lie though. That would be very helpful on that slider coming down. Oh,
That
that's a
is the
tremendous
best
shot.
of the three. But that's where Luxe should be able to pick up a shot. That's a fantastic tee shot there. Jamal, it's been about more than a year now since he's had a win, so I'm sure he is looking forward to that.
There we have the super tracker. A very good visual. Look at that finish. Look at that balance. Absolutely beautiful. The super tracker, Swami, is a really great addition
Oh
for people
yes,
viewing golf,
yeah.
particularly on their
It
mobile
gives you a good,
devices.
it gives you a great idea. Look at that moment. That is such a nice looking moment.
And I love the way these youngsters, they finish with the reverse C. That's something which, older guys like me just, it's a distant memory. Big boy over
It's the
there.
big boy.
Well, he managed a solid reverse C as well.
All these kids have got these young stars have got the equipment in place and really walloping for.
And the fitness as well. The fitness
Oh
is a
yes,
very
fitness is a
integral
huge
part of
issue.
their
Yes.
preparation and equipment. So there we have them up on the very interesting 11th green. And a quick word about our tour partners. Thank you, Rolex, a premium watch brand associated with golf for several decades and some of the biggest names in sport, transgressing well beyond golf and tennis and other lovely sports. Thank you for your continued support over years for the PGTI. Deeply appreciated. And of course, the household brand Amul, their cheese, their milks, their ice creams. Well, you can see, Swami, I'm kind of waxing eloquent on Amul because it's again in the food department. Thank you, Amul, for your support as well. And then, of course, our friends at Victoria's Choice, speaking about food, the lovely players' lounges that they have set up. Their partnership now close to about a year with the PGTI and a tremendous addition with the player lounges, scrumptious food, with great setup, and the lovely ambience that they provide. So here we have Angad Chima making a tricky little chip or a pitch. It's got a lofted club. It's going to move right to left. And yeah, there you see it. It's absolutely flying down the slope. And he's knocked it about a good 6 feet by, I imagine. By no means an easy putt coming back, and he's definitely going to have to make that to keep the momentum going with his birdie on the 10th.
That's right. I mean, you can't afford to drop a shot in there. That's just you're coming into the closing stages, or rather the back nine of the moving day. There's one more day to go, and Jamal seems to be way ahead right now. 5 clear of Akshay, and 9 clear of Angad, and 10 of Divyansh. That is quite a distance.
Well, that said, Akshay does have a makeable putt. I think he's about 6 or 7 feet
That's
away.
right. He should get a birdie out there, and this is one is going to be a little difficult for Jamal.
So
But
Jamal's
with
going to
this
be.
man, you never know.
You're absolutely right. He's clearly in great form with round of 61 and 62, which
And
placed
he's
him at.
had two runner-up finishes this season, so I'm sure he wants to go one better.
Oh, absolutely. And why not? So important putt coming up for Jamal.
He's got a very compact stance there, and no time. Doesn't take any time.
He's left it
Oh my
short.
God, he's left it
Yeah,
short.
it does come a bit
Or
uphill as
did
we
he
saw from
misjudge the
Angad.
speed?
Yes,
Did
he
he
did.
misjudge the speed? Because he was actually in the slight bit of a tougher class there. Let's see.
Yes, and he's about a foot short, so he's definitely misjudged it a bit. Well, interesting to see
But
Akshay
it's
going
also a
before
bit
Angad.
scary if you put in too much of a stroke behind it. It might just overshoot.
But this particular green, because of the elevation surrounding it, has a lot of speed difference between the downhill and the uphill in particular. Yes, you're right. Akshay is wearing an interesting shirt. Red shirt, red numbers coming up. Let's see if that happens. Very important part for him. This should bring him to within 3 shots of Jamal, which will be very handy for him for sure.
Oh, so that's 21-16.
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. 21-16. Yes,
Yes,
no mistake.
he sinks it in.
Excellent
well.
putt, Akshay. You see the
Yes.
little mini fist
He knows
pump?
that's an important putt, puts a lot of pressure on Jamal now.
Yes.
Yes,
Indeed.
I know it's a mere tap in, but still, worse things have happened on golf courses.
No, and I say that because, in particular now when they're going down the stretch of 12 to 16, those holes are wide open
Oh,
because it's kind of in the center of an amphitheater within the fort. Uh, there are no tree lines between those fairways, and a lot of those par fours are birdieable. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens over the next 3 to 4 holes. There was a tremendous pro-am, in fact, on the Sunday, and the members that participated into the sponsors extremely appreciative of the course conditions, given the fact that there were very, very heavy rains last week in Hyderabad, and the way the course is recovered, and the PGTI team and the HGA team have worked tirelessly to get this course back in pristine condition. Come on, Angad. This is an important putt. Nice stroke. Should move a bit left to right.
Yes, he
Well
saves
done.
it.
Well
Saves
done.
that. That
Yes.
was a.
Very important putt,
And you
Swami.
can almost, kind of. Oh, yes.
So in the meantime, of course, Cullen has birdied the 10th and moved to 11 under. So that should all go well for him. Moves up to tied third, along with Divyanshu Bajaj and Angachima. So with close to about 26, 27 holes to go for the leader group. Things very interesting midway through day 3. One of the other lovely players in the field, Chikarangappa. It's good to see him on the leaderboard. He's at 7 under in tied 13, and wouldn't he love to get a few red numbers closing in and having a chance to go low again tomorrow? So this is hole number 12. Ooh.
Oh,
That is
my
unfortunate.
God. Many a
Cullen misses
slip
that.
between the cup and the lip.
That was another birdie
That was
opportunity.
a costly mess there.
And his reaction seemed to, and he looked at his caddy as we all saw, and it seemed to be that they probably read it wrong, because if there you could see a bit of anger. They probably had probably two-minded on the line to be taken on that putt. and it probably didn't come back from the left side as he expected. For the benefit of our viewers, the 12th hole is a 409-yard hole. It has a boundary wall or a boundary fence, if I may say, on the right of the hole, but there's plenty of room on the left side. And it is actually on the right of this hole, of this fairway, Swami, that the HGA has acquired additional land where they intend to, place another hole or two and do a little bit of rerouting on this course over the next couple of years.
Fantastic. So always trying to add a few more things, making it even better.
It's wonderful and very heartening, Swami, when you see a golf course making the priority, the golf, the junior programs, the course conditions, and the support facilities for that, because it's very important, of course, to have a lot of other activities for members and other sports. But being a golf club, notwithstanding or taking away from the other activities, I believe golf should always be the primary focus, because that's really the crown jewel. Good hands there. And the greens seem to be, well, it's 9.2 on the stimp. They seem to be a little bit slower visually to me, of course.
Visually.
It's just not rolling out a whole lot.
Mentally, I think, we know that these greens are soft right now because of all the heavy rains.
Yes.
So, but they obviously aren't because they are traveling well.
So you see, we get a visual now on the screen, and you can see it's a very wide open, well, kind of a Maidan look, very much like a core design, and the trees are just on the surround.
Sofa like a rock there in the middle.
Oh,
Probably
these rocks.
It looks like a natural sofa.
Yes, you're right. Makes great viewership spots where you plonk your backside on one of the sides of the rocks or go and stand.
Oh,
no.
There it is. Divyanshu doesn't like that at all. Now, that is what can happen, sometimes if you just kind of, allow a bit of distraction there. I'm not sure of what it was. But nevertheless, a costly shot drop there by Divyanshu.
And I believe Cullen has a role to play in that, because Cullen missed it on the left side, and that's probably the reason Divyanshu gave it a bit of more of a right bias, almost on a very similar line, and he misses it on the right side.
Gaurav needs to get this one far.
Yeah, this putt itself is about 5 feet. No mistake there. Good to see one of them get it absolutely right. Dead center. He's smiling.
Big smile there. I guess he saw you, Shivas.
Oh, well. Well, speaking about shirts, we were talking about our shirts. Gaurav's wearing a nice one too. Nice and bright, contrasting well against the...
We are back there. Lovely aerial view of the HGA golf course.
The NSL Luxe Telangana Golconda Masters. I mean, just look at this aerial view, Swami. It is absolutely spectacular. Then you
It
have the
is very,
backdrop of the city at the back.
yeah,
See
to be
those?
honest, Shivas, I love these aerial views of any golf course because there's so much, such an expanse of green. It really, really makes you feel good. And of course, this golf course with the fort there and the city views, of course, it is spectacular. No question. And look at those flower beds and the green. They've really, really kept the golf course beautiful. Angachima here.
He's coming in on the 12th, probably a 9 or 8 iron. That's a
Just
nice
a
little shot.
tad, just a tad long there.
That's very interesting pin position, Swami. They've been very clever. They've got it in the center of the green, tucked onto the left side, but very close to the rock. So
Yes.
visually, that rock is in the mind of most players coming in. You don't want to be missing it left and meddling with that. The first time I saw HGA was probably maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and it was still in its very formative years. It was kind of all over the place, but you could see work was being done. And then I saw it last year, literally a year ago, and I was surprised with the progress that they had made as
Oh,
a
yes.
club,
They've made actually very good progress there.
and they had also started work on their clubhouse, which at that time was just a little bit more than a shell. And currently, as we speak, the golf course is just transformed completely, and with the visuals and the contours and just the general hospitality and the
There
vibe,
is Jamal.
it's a beauty. It's not bad.
It's a
It's not
nice
bad.
one. It's not a bad one, but I'm sure. But he also probably wanted to hit, didn't want to hit it under the hole
Or near the rock.
or the rock. Yeah.
I just find, and particularly in this last leg, we've had a lot of golf courses that have had, rocks. We saw what happened even at Clover, which also has a lot of rock features. Oh, this one's gotten away.
No, he's just he
He's
just a bit of more of par and then he just goes on. There, Warren Parekh, who won the Kapil Dev Grant Thornton Invitational 2022, and the Indian legend, cricket legend, Captain Cool MS Dhoni, who presented the winner's jacket to Warren, also gave him a nice pep talk, which he just loves talking about.
It's really nice to see former sports people giving back to sport. It doesn't necessarily have to be their particular
And these
sport.
days, Dhoni loves his golf too.
Yes, he's a fairly mean badminton player as well, I'm told. Loves that game tremendously. Now, he's become quite the sporting icon and
He is. I mean,
in
in
fact, a
virtually
global
every
legend.
sport, every
Yes.
sport.
Yes,
Of
life
course,
is unfair.
A
That's-
great bike and a car aficionado.
He is indeed. Yes, yes, yes.
This Akshay, right now, trying to get back to see if he can actually get out to the par. He can't afford to drop a shot there. The gap is getting bigger otherwise.
So as things stand currently, you have Jamal Hussain at 21 under, 4 shots behind is Akshay Sharma, and then at 12 under, Anga Chima. 11 under has the pair of Kalin Joshi and Shaurya Bhattacharya grouped up. And at 10 under, we have the trio of Arjun Prasad, Manu Gandas, and Divyanshu Bajaj. It's amazing also how when you cross Swami, from the inside of the fortress to the outside of the fortress or the fort. You see the tunnel on the top right side of our screen. These are actually passageways that are currently being used to move from one side of the course to the other side of the course, and you're walking through the tunnels in the fort.
Oh, well, he's done a pretty decent job of that.
It's a good chip indeed, yes, from where he was, for sure.
Akshay needs to get this so that he doesn't allow Jamal to get away too far. Already 4 shots between them. After the 6 more holes to go on the third day, and then, of course, the full 18 tomorrow. Big prize, 15 lakhs for the winner, with Yuvraj Sandhu away doing in international events. It's a chance for the other players to try and catch up on him. Of course, Yuvraj Sandhu's been in an absolutely fabulous form this season. 4 wins.
And as I was mentioning, this is a very interesting stretch because this, of course, is the 12th hole with the elevated tee. And now when they go back down the 13th, which is about 380 yards, doesn't seem very long, but the drive is absolutely flat. And then the second shot is back to an elevated green that's again about 30 or 40 feet above fairway level.
Then look at that. She was 23 under is the record by Manu Gandas in 2022. But the record could well be broken this year. Unfortunately, the preferred lies means it won't be a new one.
He's left it short.
Again.
Yes, these guys are just seeming to misjudge it a little bit, where they're leaving all the putts, most of them a little bit short, dead on line. So it's possible the greens have slowed down a bit.
212 acres, a floodlit driving range, a pro shop, a golf fitting shop, and a training camp area practice facility. Fantastic. Look at all the facilities down there at the HGA.
The driving range
squash
itself.
courts, badminton courts, they've got everything.
No, it's a multi-sport facility, and the driving range is impressive to say the least. That just came up about 3 years ago when the work started. It's become operational maybe just 8-10 months ago. State of the art, 2-tire, great short game facility on the side as well.
Great tourism-friendly golf course of all, which was bestowed on it by the national tours.
So now we have Jamal, birdie opportunity to move to 22 under. And this is the putt and the line, Swami, that's flattered to deceive. We've seen them miss it on the left. We've seen them miss it to the right. Let's see what he does. Looks good. It's tracking.
Oh,
It's deviated to the left. We've just been watching a lot of that happening with this group in the last. But he did give it a bit of a get-go. You could see that. And that's probably the reason the ball even got up to the hole.
polishes it off. I'm sure he's still thinking about how did it not fall.
It did seem to just veer off to the left, literally at the fag end. And now, of course, we have Akshay. After a lovely little chip, sizing this up. Seems to definitely be a pin position that is making all these golfers think. While they're, of course, oblivious of what happened in the previous group. We've been sitting here in a AC comfort and watching it.
Sure, the weather looks pretty good out there too. Akshay.
No mistake there. Well done. Solid par. Stays in second place at 17 under. And we have Angad now to clean up as well for a par. So Yuvraj and Angad, the only two golfers who are even par for the day in the top 15. Well done.
Right. And so, with that putt, I'll request Rahul Bajaj to come in, take my place alongside Shivas for a while.
Welcome back, Rahul. And there we see, as we were talking, the players make their way to the next tee with a beautiful fort in the backdrop. Absolutely stunning. It's golf courses like these with these unique features that make for wonderful golf tourism on one hand, and plus, given the rich history of India, and of course, they're in Hyderabad with its rich traditions. It's something that really augurs well for tourism golf, not just internationally, but even within India, because many of us in India is a big country, and many of us have played a lot of golf courses. But something like this is always a very special treat to take in a bit of the history and dare I say some of the friendly and not friendly bounces of the rocks.
Well, talking about history, there we have all of the history of the Golconda Fort right coming into the backswing of Anga Chima. And of course, no one can hide all of the things that Telangana, Hyderabad is famous for: the pearls, the biryani, the Mughlai food, and of course, Anga Chima. Seems like he could do some Mughlai food himself.
I need to take him under my wing on that one, Rahul. But also some really tremendous architectural features: the Naya Killa, the Charminar.
Absolutely. In fact, I was reading through yesterday, and I did not know that Hyderabad was actually famous for diamonds and pearls back in the day, because that's what you know did that's what it was famous for, the trade of diamonds and pearls back in the day. And of course, now we know it for the food, but also even till date, pearls and ether are some of the most famous things from the city.
Well, Nawabi Shock, as well, we would say, and that's probably from where, because of the diamonds and the pearls, that the Nawabs and the rulers back then gathered a lot of their wealth.
On what Nawabi shock, we have Jamal Hussain, the leader, at 21 under par, pounding that one on the 30.
Yeah, we saw a bit of the club twirl. Very nice. He's staring it down. He seems to be happy. There's a bunker in the middle of the fairway, and I think that's the one that probably wanted to ensure he carries. It's a very large size bunker.
Well, Jamal has, of course, steadied his ship after the blemish on hole number 9, making birdie on the 10th, pars on 11th and 12th, staying atop at 21 under par, leading by 4 shots currently. Of course, this is early days. There are other players also who are trying to make the move, but can players like Anga Chima, Shaurya Bhattacharya, and Kalin Joshi, as well as Divyanshu Bajaj, make the move? They are nearly 10 shots away. I mean, of course, Anga Chima is 9 shots away from the lead, but Shaurya, Kalin, and Divyanshu are 10 shots away. Do you think that over the course of the next 25 holes, they could really do some sort of a damage?
Well, there are some pretty solid rounds coming in there, Rahul. You have Vishal Pratap Singh Gill, who's at 9 under for the tournament, but 7 under for the day, having completed 15 holes. And then you have Anshul Kaptial, who's, of course, at 8 under for the tournament and has completed his round at 6 under. And your very own student, Shaurya Bhattacharya, is 5 under for the day, tournament-wise 11 under, and he's only played 14 holes, so he still has another 4 holes and can get a couple of more birdies, and that would do him no harm.
Definitely Anshul Kaptial, as well as Bishop Pratap Singh Gill, stirring up some good rounds out there, cooking up 7 under and 6 under on their own. And that's pretty cool, I must say. And there's, in fact, it's interesting to see that there are 44 players in the field who are under par as of now. And the cut, of course, went at even par for the tournament. 55 players making the cut here at the Golconda Masters. As we take a look at that beautiful view on the 14th tee box, what do you think of that, Shiva? That just absolutely looks stunning, doesn't it? Nestled right there in the middle of the trees with the fort in the background.
Absolutely. It's the 14th is a lovely hole, and it is it's a spectacular being up there, and particularly when the wind is blowing. That can play havoc with your tee shot.
Wind, of course, is blowing quite a bit here at the HGA today, and you could tell that from the fluttering of the shirts of the players and the flags as we saw earlier. And of course, these kind of tee boxes are very difficult to read the wind, especially because you're sort of engulfed from all the sides, and you cannot really tell the true wind that is happening out there, because once the ball takes off, the ball's actually going to be hit with the true wind. And over there, you can really not feel any of it with the fort in the background, trees on the left and the right. And that is Gaurav Pratap Singh.
Has he driven this? This is a very drivable par 4. This is the one where we had a hole in one yesterday as well.
Was this the one, or was the 15th? 15th,
15th, sorry,
15th was the one where we had the hole in one yesterday. This is the 14th hole, and of course, the 14th also seems to be drivable for a lot of players. It's 369 yards, but certainly.
No, it's gettable for the
some of
big
the players
boys.
can get there.
Rahul with the 3-wood, because of the elevation change and the wind conditions. And you don't want to be blowing it past the green, because there's just nothing but the fort at the back of the green. So
Talking about elevation changes, that itself in the camera angle is a certain elevation change there. Looking at the Hyderabad town, as you can see, all around the golf course. What a stunning view that is, Shivas. Absolutely one for the
it's
ages.
spectacular. This is one that's just that's the clubhouse on the bottom, one part of the clubhouse on the bottom left, and that was the second green. And we also saw the first fairways and the 18th. So well, our viewers haven't actually seen the first hole, Rahul. I've got to say that the first hole is probably one of the toughest driving holes
Absolutely.
in professional golf and amateur
Absolutely.
golf anywhere.
I completely agree. I've played this golf course a bunch of times myself in tournament play, and that first hole tee shot, mind you, is quite something. In fact, back in the day, the driving range was on the left side of the fairway of the first hole, and that was one hell of a tee shot with the OB line on the right side and the driving range on the left side. And oh my goodness gracious, what kind of a view is that captured by the camera? That is absolutely stunning. That's something that I've never seen before. What a fort view that is.
It's a completely different dimension and perception you have of Hyderabad, and appreciation as well, I might add, when you get kind of visuals like this.
Honestly speaking, I don't think that even if you went to visit one of these forts and all of them, you would actually not know the grandeur of it until you saw this sort of an aerial view. And of course, the settlement now of the city that happens all around the fort, the Char Minar, absolutely incredible.
I'm told that parts of the current golf course within the fort were also the old hunting grounds for the royal family, because their palace or the residential area wasn't very far away, and that's where they would come when they weren't at war and hunt and the royal sport or shikar. as
And
they
now
say.
it's a hunting ground for professional golfers.
And for some club amateurs who enjoy it, making a bit of a moolah of each other on their weekend jaunts.
So still remains much of a hunting ground around the fort area. What a stunning view. I swear I cannot get my eyes off the screen at this moment. Shivas, as pretty as you may be, the screen right now is just takes the cake.
Oh no, it's absolutely wonderful, the golf course, and the other thing, of course, this is the old side of Hyderabad as we see, and then talking about Hyderabad as a city, you have the newer areas, Gachibowli, etc., where you really think you're in Hong Kong or Singapore when you walk down there, and those business hubs and cafes and lovely restaurants. This city really has it all, and I see so much progress happening, not just on the golf course but across, and that kind of is the flavor of the city.
Yep, the modern Hyderabad is very much an IT hub, if I may. In fact, home to some of the biggest IT companies of the world, and bustling with that sort of energy. And of course, you're absolutely right with all the cafes and the restaurants and whatnots, and that's what businesses sort of bring to cities. And now we also have golf here, and in a pretty big way, we've got 3 or 4 great golf courses in this region, really bringing the sport to the fore.
Absolutely right. Boulder Hills itself is a tremendous golf course. Again, a lot of rock formations and wonderful natural features. A great track, a lovely design, an absolutely fabulous clubhouse. So we'd, absolutely love to see a PGTI event go to Boulders as well. Boulders has hosted some women's events of the WGA, if I'm not mistaken.
I
Rahul.
think, if I'm not mistaken, there are plans that new events will be coming in those golf courses as well. In fact, I think they've had tournaments in Booty as well as Haldi Golf County, which happen to be just on the outskirts of Hyderabad. So, incredible growth of the game in this region, and of course, it's been growth of businesses in this region, and
100%.
that really brings up sport. And I still can't fathom the fact that this once used to be a marshland slash dump yard for a lot of for many a years. If we take a look at Angad Chima, Angad now chipping up onto the green here on the 13th hole. He's got some amount of elevation to deal with. So he'll have to take a little bit of an aerial approach and chips it up
He's a bit
and
short.
comes up fairly short of the
He's not
hole.
happy.
That'll be a bit of work to do for Angad on the par 4.
Again, speaking of which, great visual in the background. You see the fortress wall, and and just look at that. Look at the elevation change here on this hole. These guys are taking big strides on the way down, and good for them with the preferred lie option. Gives them a nice little lie to flip the ball on. This chip should move slightly from the right to left.
You can look at Akshay. Akshay coming up also from short of the green here on hole number 13. This green is pretty much perched up, nearly about 20 or 25 feet above where the fairway and the tee box is.
Too much juice.
Well, it seems like Akshay might have taken a bit of a leaf out of Angad's chip shot there and sort of maybe gave that a bit too much, but should have a fairly makeable putt from about 5 feet away. I mean, I guess past the hole is always better than short of the hole, considering that you could end up seeing a line, and of course, always giving yourself a chance to chip it in.
Absolutely.
And going by what is happening on the order of merit here on the PGT of India after the Chennai Open, Yuvraj Sandhu leads the way after playing 11 tournaments on the PGTI and winning 4 of them. And with a total prize purse earned so far of 88,67,200 rupees. Arjun Prasad at second position with 66,21,000 in his kitty. Udayan Mane, the Olympian, at 62 lakhs, and Shaurya Bhattacharya at 60 lakh. Angad Chima follows up at 58 lakh rupees. So, stunning look at the leaderboard of the order of merit over here. Lots of money to be played for. Lots of tournaments still remaining on the PGTI. We've got the Coimbatore Open coming up hereafter. We've got nearly 10 events still lined up.
No, it's a very populated schedule, and a lot of the professionals would have to obviously make their choices because they cannot be playing week in and week out. And of course, most of them are now trying to play their way into the DP World event, which is going to be at the Delhi Golf Club, 16th to 19th, and a lot of excitement there. The course, for its members, shut down a couple of days ago, and you can see the work has already started in full swing. Grandstands, the work is coming up.
Chima putting for par. Chima trying to stay up in the game. Unfortunately, will be going on and dropping a shot here on the 13th hole. That will derail him further away from Jamal Hussain.
Yeah, he's giving away shots to the field. He will move to 1 under for the day and 11 under for the tournament, and drop back to 4th place.
Chima now will be at 11 under, and Akshay Sharma now needs to make his own par to stay 4 shots away. We take a look now at Jamal Hussain. Jamal, a player from Bangladesh, plays most of his golf in Dhaka, the Kurmitola Golf Club, one of the top players produced by the country. And Jamal, of course, has represented his country also in the sport on the amateur level back in the day, and now has played professional golf now for 15 years. Turned pro in 2010 and has had a pretty consistent showing as a professional over the years.
And he's been a regular, Rahul, as well, now on the PGTF for about, a decade or thereabouts?
Jamal has been around since 2010. He turned pro in 2010.
15 years then, yes.
15 years of pro golf for him. And 2 runner-up finishes already this year, trying to get his first win. And that's another
birdie.
Lovely putt there by Jamal Hussain, making a birdie and moving to 22 under par, separating himself from the rest of the field.
Yes, and Akshay still has a bit of work left. Well, that seems to be for a birdie, I believe. So that could ensure that he stays in touch.
Akshay course, trying to stay within a few shots of Jamal here with that chip attempt. He's got about 5 feet. That ball's going to break a little bit from his left to the right. There is enough slope coming in from the left. Takes in a little sip of water, calms down his nerves, gets some oxygen in with a breath, and getting ready.
Somehow I feel that this putt might actually be for a par, not a birdie, because we saw him chip from just the front of the green, and that's a very, very long way to go for a drive. That's almost a 340 carry. So I'm really not sure. I think this was for a par.
Yes, absolutely. This was Akshay's par putt, and he would stay at 17 under par, and really super.
What brings you to a standstill? Mountains, lakes and waterfalls. Something that inspires you. Culture, history. People. Experience the warmth. Listen to the story. Smile along in celebrations. Festivals. Food. Art. Where else can you find all of this? Telangana. Come and experience the new state of India.
Here we are, back. Great visuals that have been enthralling all of us. The bustling city around this pristine golf course.
In fact, I had a chance, Shivas, to visit Hyderabad a couple of months ago for some work, and the city has really become very, very busy. From the last time I went there, which was about 5 or 7 years ago, uh, this year I noticed that the city was extremely busy, much busier, probably 2 times or 3 times as busy than what I had seen earlier.
No, it's huge. I mean, a lot of the massive multinationals, massive financial services companies have all their back offices here. I'm told JP Morgan has 22,000 employees in Hyderabad. 22,000 housed in a
Staggering.
single block, a single building. Can you imagine?
Wow.
That's a city.
Wow. Colin Joshi now tapping in. It's,
That's your hole number 14.
lots of slopes here on this golf course here at HGA. In fact, one of the holes here also is an island green par 3.
Yes, I think that could be the seventh if I'm not mistaken.
And really, it's a very interesting hole, especially when the wind picks up. The green is, designed in a manner that goes from the left towards the right side in like a bean shape. And if you're playing to the front flag versus the back flag, you could really be 3 clubs different. Going from first day to the last day of the tournament. That's quite a change when it comes to playing golf.
And there's a huge dip that is literally in the center of that green,
Yes.
which is at least a couple of feet
It's
below
like
the
a
lower
little
shelf
valley.
and 3 feet below the upper shelf.
Absolutely.
And that can give guys fits when they miss the club length.
100%. In fact, if you're in the middle part of that green, which is the second tier, you're pretty much putting almost 80 degrees uphill if the pin was perched up at the back.
Yeah, and it's also an uphill putting down towards the front because that is so far lower than the front and the back of the green.
Alan Joshi trying to assert on the win here on the 15th hole. The 15th hole here is a par 4. The hole where Chandrajit Yadav yesterday made a hole-in-one, the first ever hole-in-one in the history of the PGTI on a par 4. Alan Joshi going with an iron. Seems like he's laying up, Shivas. He's not giving himself a chance for the hole in one or the eagles.
You
seems
know,
like.
so this is a very interesting hole. The green is actually blind, and it's a bit of a dogleg left to right.
Yes.
OB on the right, and interestingly, club members are not permitted to hit drivers on this tee
Oh, really?
because they hit it into the homes which are across the wall.
Wow.
So it's only for the pro event that they're allowed to go with the driver. So typically, the short shape would be a nice power fade, a bit high as well. Shape it, and the green is semi-blind. Cullen's probably hit a 9-iron to lay it up, and then he's just going to wedge it on.
Yes, I think that also, one of the things that probably we guys sitting here in the commentary booth don't really understand is where the wind is blowing from. So if the wind is, blowing from a side which the player might not be very comfortable in, then the more prudent approach would be
PGTI
to
मेरा
sort of
फर्स्ट
lay
होल
up
में
and
मुझे
then give
बहुत
yourself a
खुशी है
chance for the
मेरा
wedge.
स्टडी भी
As we
7th होल
see,
पे रह गया था
Divyanshu is
इस
going
होल पे
with
मेरा
the
गुड
big
लक हो
stick,
गया होल नंबर
and
14
he
पे
seems to be
राइट टू
pretty
लेफ्ट विंड था
comfortable with
मैंने
the
राइट
wind
इस
as
पे
well
रख
as
के
the
मारा
shape that he requires for this hole. Divyanshu Bajaj, who comes in from Calcutta, plays at the Royal Calcutta Golf Club, has been playing professional golf for over 15 years now.
Yeah. Oh, see, there he's losing it right. He's not happy.
In fact, the right side is where the fort is and the OB line as well. So if hopefully it's strong enough to get through and get past the fort area.
Yeah, he's certainly not happy.
Gaurav Pratap Singh going with a 3-wood. Seems like distance is not a problem for a man who's fondly called GPS. And hopefully has got a GPS tracker on that golf ball for this shot as well.
Yeah, 3-wood is a bit of an interesting choice because I'm not really sure whether that would get him all the way there. He's bringing the risk into play.
I think Gaurav can pretty much pound that ball pretty far, and he hits a bunt cut, so to speak, with all of his clubs. So you never know, he might actually be able to get there, considering which side the wind is from.
Staring it down, it's gone to the right.
He seems to be okay with it.
No. Oh, asking some questions, and there we see Divyanshu again teeing it up.
Well, Divyanshu seems to
Probably
be
provisional.
reloading.
Doesn't seem to have
Fired the first one on the wrong side. I think must be a provisional for Divyanshu. Only called Bunty, coming up at 11 under par after the 14 holes.
Again, one to the right. You see the caddy gesticulating. Oh, this can't be very nice. They're not serious. He's going to be hitting a third off the tee.
Well, probably
And now he's taking an iron.
seems like Cullen Joshi seems to have made the right choice here, Shivas. All said and done.
No, there is really no give on the right side. There is absolutely nothing. That the fortress wall is literally 10 feet away from the green.
It's sticking to the green pretty much, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you're kind of protecting it, and that's what forts are supposed to do, Shivas.
Well, unfortunately, Divyanshu isn't the enemy here. He's one of us, and he didn't really need to put himself in that scenario. But it is what it is, risk and reward.
Windy day here at the HGA, keeping things tough, and I'm assuming that a lot of players might have tried to go for the hole-in-one, just like Chandrajit Yadav.
Yes.
Trying to be a bit more heroic.
The 14th, of course, I would fully expect a bunch of these guys to be driving the green, looking at the flag. It's playing downwind, and in the elevated tee, probably 3-wood, driving to the front.
Yuvraj Singh seems to have picked up a few shots on that back nine with birdie on hole number 10, 14, and 15. Now at 10 under par for the tournament. We've also got Jamal, who's made a birdie on hole number 13 as well, gone to 22 under par, extending his lead to 5 shots over Akshay Sharma, who is on our screens right now from just short of the green here on hole number 14. And there we have the players on the right side. They're walking up on the 15th hole. As you can tell, that's the walk uphill onto the 15th green. That is Cullen Joshi leading the way there. Divyanshu Bajaj on the left side. On the right side, you see Gaurav Pratap. And in pretty much the line of where Gaurav is where the green is.
And you just saw the rock on the top right. The flattish big rock has just gone off our screen. And that green's actually on the right of that, right behind there.
Absolutely. It's a blind tee shot, and you
Absolutely.
could tell from the way the flag was moving that the wind is playing left to right. So, the players must start the ball fairly left of the green to be able to get it up. And if you started it even marginally right with this kind of a wind,
You're in trouble.
you
Yes.
could really be going over the fourth on the other
So
side.
this is again a very interesting green. Ankad's chip is going to move quite a bit left to right. It's visually not there, but there's so much green and nap on this green. Everything moves left to right. Look at that, and it looks almost dead flat. It just slides to the right, and that will just tell you now how quick Akshay's chip is going to be. It's just going to run.
Chima has done a pretty terrific job over there. We still have about 6 feet for his part.
Rahul, you're absolutely right. This hole has been playing downwind, and the next one where we just saw the boys reload, the wind is going totally towards the fortress wall and out of bounds. So
So you've got to start the ball, left enough, and if blocking it out to the right is your miss, that was absolute miscue by Akshay. It seems to have hit something on the fringe and moved off to the right. Maybe a part of the fort. The remains of what was once a complete fort in this area.
No, I
Look
suspect
at the wind over there, Shivas.
it's flying. It's really flying. Then coming back to Akshay, I suspect he, was being a bit conservative with where he wanted to drop the ball so that it doesn't run too far away, and he probably just didn't carry it far enough, and it just, probably got the edge of the green, which is sloping, and bounded off the other way.
Well, some of us call that to be a very cute shot.
Cute.
Is that
Cute
what he was
indeed.
trying to pull off? A cute shot, but now he's left with about 15 feet for par from what might not have been the most toughest spot, to be in the fairway. And going by the wind here, I just want to bring out to the folks who are watching this tournament, if you're on that 15 tee box, and if, blocking it out right is your miss hit. So even if you do that by a hair,
You're dead.
this kind of a wind will catch the ball and completely throw it away.
Absolutely.
So you have to hit it really strong, penetrating ball flight, and start it off fairly left to have any sort of a chance at the hole.
And you see Cullen there, right? He probably had 9-9 off the tee. He's now, on the background. And that's actually the perfect spot.
Well, Cullen, I think, has been a draw player for most of the time that I've known him. So I'm guessing that right side, starting the ball right is his actual friend. But with this wind, probably he made the more prudent choice to be picking up
Beyond
an
doubt.
iron off the tee.
No, from where Cullen is, he doesn't have more than 100, 115 based on where the pin is cut going in. And that's again a good distance for these boys with the wedges.
That's a birdie putt here for Akshay Sharma. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be a birdie. That's a 369-yard par 4, the 14th hole. And with
He
the
won't be
length,
happy with that because this is a hole they expect to drive and definitely make birdie.
well, with 5 shots away from the lead, the only thing that you want to do right now is to catch as many shots as you can. You're running out of holes for the day. And of course, tomorrow is going to be another day. But at the same time, you want to close in the gap as much as possible and have least amount of work to be done for that final day. We take a look now at Jamal Hussain. Jamal also putting for birdie here on hole number 14. Wind is downwind here on the 14, 369-yard par 4. And with that sort of a wind, if you can hit the ball high enough, you could pretty much be right in the jaws of the green, as have been all of these players.
Yeah. This putt to go to 23 and extend his lead to 6 shots. Definitely a makeable putt.
Eagle putt for that
Oh
matter.
my God, that's eagle. That would just bring the hammer down on them.
Oh yeah, Jamal Hussain putting for eagle to move to 24 under par. He would have surpassed Manu Gandas's record,
Sadly,
4-day record already.
it drops off to the right. It does move sharply left to right, as I was mentioning, but it's still a tap and birdie.
Well, tap in birdie it is, and another hole coming up. Jamal, in fact, made an eagle yesterday on hole number 15th, which he's just about to play now.
There, the little birdie animation, I was mentioning to Swami, it reminds me, I think that's super cute, and it reminds me of the good old days, Channel 9 cricket, the duck walk, when someone was out for a zero. It's a pretty cool addition to our telecast and for our viewers.
A bit cuter than Akshay's chip, perhaps.
For sure. And certainly a little bit more effective at this point, dare I say. take a look now at Angad. Angad has his own birdie opportunity. Needs to make this one to come back to even par for the day. It's about 5 feet away. And looking at the other putts that we saw a couple of moments ago, I think this putt's going to be pretty fast, breaking from slightly from the left to the right, but pretty fast. Will he get away from him before he knows it? And it did. It did. He just seemed to come out of the putt that stroke a little quick, right?
I think a lot of times the players sort of already know that they've miscued it, so they come out of it midway itself. And I think that seems like what Unger did. He knew it straight off the bat that it's not online. Chima now has got a putt for par. And of course, not a happy ending to this hole, considering that if you've reached the front edge of the green on a par 4 and are still making par, that's of course something not what the player wants to do. Nonetheless, that doesn't mean there aren't more birdies to be made. There are plenty and more coming through as we move from here on to the 15th.
Well, Chima cleans that up, and now we're coming down to the business end of day 3 of our NSL Luxe, the Telangana Golconda Masters, hosted at the gorgeous HGA, the Hyderabad Golf Association Club. And a lot of fun and games for the last few holes as we close out day 3 in about an hour and a half.
Quick mention also to our tour partners here at the PGTI of India, the Victorious Choice, IndusInd Bank, Amritanjan Electro Plus, Amul, Rolex, as well as Campa. Of course, none of this is possible without the support of all of these sponsors, and of course, associating themselves with a sport like golf. It is absolutely fantastic. And this week, we of course have got the support from Telangana Tourism. We've also got NSL Luxe. The pinnacle of the group's portfolio is the ultra premium vertical dedicated to crafting homes for the few who seek more than luxury. They seek rarity. And rarity it is, luxury it is when you talk about golf. As we take a look now at Gaurav Pratap Singh.
So there we are, Rahul. That's what we were talking about. The green is literally 10 feet away from the fortress, and there's rocks. So very penal for a miss on the right side. So I really do hope for Divyanshu that he did locate one of his first 2 balls. Otherwise, he's certainly looking at a big number here.
I 100% hope he did. Divyanshu also seems to have changed his putting grip to the claw grip, something which has become quite common and famous of late.
It drops off.
That seems like a bit of an underread or maybe an underhit for Divyanshu.
Yeah. Well, there you are. The ball's really, really close to the green. Huge risk reward opportunity for these boys.
We have got some moments of the day. We've got Victor on the path. Currently at a tie for 12th position, 8 under par tournament. Lovely golf in there. We have Amardeep Malik, who seems to have cultivated a bit of a Hideki Matsuyama in himself with a pause up top of his backswing. Angachima on the green. Sharma. Having a pensive moment there.
Yeah, he's been struggling a bit today. No question about that. Young Shippage.
Did Navid Kaur, who won recently at the Fire Hills County. We've got Vikramjeet Singh Sandhu.
पीजीटीआई में मेरा फर्स्ट होल में मुझे बहुत खुशी है। मेरा स्टडी भी 7th होल पे रह गया था। इस होल पे मेरा गुड लक हो गया। होल नंबर 14 पे राइट टू लेफ्ट विंड था। मैंने राइट एज पे रख के मारा, जस्ट स्लाइड ड्रॉ हुआ, वो राइट एज पे गिरते हुए देखा, वो अपने आप किया। बाउंस देखा मैं, जा रहा है स्लोली गया वो, मुझे लगा कि पिन के क्लोज है। फिर होल पे थे जमाल, ये सारे रिएक्शन दे दिए कि होल नन हो गया। कॉन्फिडेंस देगा जी बिल्कुल।
Here we are, back to the live action. So we did, of course, have Kshitij on the screen, and I met him earlier this week. I think it was on Saturday, and we spoke a little bit about his win at Zion Hills, and he was very complimentary of that golf course. And I might add, as a sidelight, he did compliment you and me as well on our commentary that week.
I mean, that was a lovely finish there by Kshitij. I think he finished birdie, and an eagle on the final hole. That was one way to snatch that victory off Shaurya's hands.
Yeah, I mean that was just unbelievable. He was absolutely unstoppable. So with that, I'm going to welcome back our colleague Swami. So Rahul and Swami will take this away as we move along.
The leaderboard on our screens now. Jamal Hussain leading the way at 23 under, 6 shots ahead of Akshay Sharma. Shaurya Bhattacharya follows up at 12 under par, 9 shots away from the lead, tied alongside Kalin Joshi. Swami, what do you think about the proceedings here at Telangana Golconda Masters at this befitting setting at the Golconda Fort? Couldn't be a more befitting venue for this championship.
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for? अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस। जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन। इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं।
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस, थकान वाली प्यास के लिए।
You know, Rahul, it was quite appropriate that just as Shivas handed me the mic, we had the NSL Luxe ad coming up, and it said silent grandeur. That's exactly what Jamal Hussain seems to have been. You know, I think he suddenly saw the scoreboard that his lead had been whittled down a little bit, so he produced birdies on 13 and 14, and so he's back with a 6-shot lead, and there's just another 4 holes to go today. So he's in a rather commanding position, I would say. Akshay did make a fight of it at some point, but the last few holes, birdies have eluded him. But hats off to Shaurya Bhattacharya, who's been having an absolutely fantastic season. This young man, I mean, he really came so close to winning last week and then lost out to an absolutely wonderful performance there. So I think what's happening right now is that all these young men are, kind of giving each other a run for their money. And I am 100% sure that this week is again going to be something like this, even though Jamal has some other ideas. One round can, make a lot of difference. He's had absolutely 2 stunning rounds, 61 and 62, 9 and 8 under, and he's already 6 under today with 4 more holes to go. So Jamal's in a zone of his own. And as we watch Kalin Joshi on the 16th for his second shot.
Colin coming from the back of the green here on the par 3. This is a 168-yard par 3. The 16th, he seems to have overshot that one, but a pretty terrific shot from the back of the green. He had to pretty much flippy that back onto the putting surface.
Should be able to save the par there.
Pin today on the 16th is 10 in and 4 from the left, so he didn't really go very much over the green, but definitely short-sided himself for an up and down.
Just tell me something about Shaurya. I mean, he's been absolutely wonderful the last few weeks or months, actually, Rahul. You've seen a lot of this young man.
Gaurav Pratap Singh also coming in from the back of the green. Gaurav is very good with the wedge, and he's stopped that ball just about 6 feet past the hole. Pretty terrific attempt by both the gentlemen And as we take a look now at Divyanshu, and we'll go back to your
Yes,
question,
yes, yes, sure, sure.
Swami,
We'll just finish
as
with
we first look at
this
the
this group.
action
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
screen on the
Got it.
16th.
Absolutely.
Got Divyanshu coming up from the left side of the green, and seems like Divyanshu is going with more of a chip and run sort of an approach, trying to give himself an opportunity to chip it in, for that matter. Going with a putting grip, as a lot of you can tell. A claw grip for the putting and putting grip for the chipping. That is Divyanshu Bajaj, and he shot it about 3 feet past the hole and should have no trouble in saving his par.
We're talking about. I think let's finish with this hole and get to, because this is, I mean, these are 3 and 4 footers, which can always be a little testy.
A little
And
tricky always, of course,
always, and these greens, even though they're soft, and they are 9.5 or so in terms of on the stimpeter, so you can't afford to take your eyes off them.
The funny thing about pressure is that it makes 3 footers almost look like 30 footers. So
Yes,
you never
indeed.
know.
I still remember Manu Gandas and Shaurya last week. They was playing so well that right at the end, when they gave up, well, it was a fantastic effort there. But Tankaraja was in a zone of his own last week, and just by playing 1 over, he went on to win in Chennai.
Yes, I think that was there was something very incredible about what happened last week, and that was really a showcase of experience by Tangaraja. If you notice, um, Tanga hit it into the rough on the last hole
Yes,
and chipped it out prudently
absolutely
back
smart.
into
He
the
took his
fairway
medicine. He took his
smartly.
medicine and came back. Yeah.
He, in fact, just placed the ball on the green about 30, 32 feet away from the flagstick. And Shaurya Bhattacharya was right in the fairway. And in fact, Tangaraja, with his experience, he said, let me just put this ball green in regulation because I'm anyway in the lead and allow the rest of them to sort of chase it or make their own mistakes. And that's kind of what he did. Divyanshu,
Oh, there
unfortunately,
it
will have to
is.
settle for a
Three
bogey.
feet. 3 feet, but a miss.
Well,
Not happy for Divyanshu. I'm sure. It's when you start, kind of giving away shots like that, it's not the greatest of things. And Divyanshu's had a rough time. He just gave a quarter on the 15, so he's probably still weighing on his mind. A quad is never easy to deal with.
especially because he's trying to sort of get his game back into shape. It's been about 2 years of struggle for Divyanshu, and that just sort of the wheels are just coming off his vehicle as he's made his way onto the 15th, and probably some remnants of that made him miss that putt as well. And I assume that Divyanshu will sort of pick up the pieces before we all know it. We take a look now at Kalin Joshi, who would have learned a thing or two from the putt of Bajaj's.
What happens is sometimes when the way Divyanshu gave away a quad, I think it tends to play a little bit on his mind, especially when your just game is just kind of coming back. So just let's see how Colin gets this one in.
If
Par
I
putt for him. I mean, again, a little around the same distance, or maybe a little just a shade less than from where Divyanshu tried. And let's see how Colin does.
fairly similar length, I think. Alan really
Ah,
hitting that
just died
a
into the
dying
ball.
putt, a really
Wonderful.
dying putt for
Good
Colin
one.
Joshi.
He's hanging in there. I know it's still way off. 11. He is 12 under, but 11 shots behind Jamal Hussain, who's the leader, and Khalid is tied for the third. Look at the distance that Jamal seems to have put between himself and the others. And coming to think of what the way a commanding lead that is held by Jamal, last week it was Sri Lanka's Thangaraja who actually went away and won the tour. So the PGTI actually doing a great job for even the golfers from our neighboring countries. Sumash Tamang from Nepal does well. So Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, all of them actually cutting the teeth here and doing so well. It's actually India's become the hub in this region with one of the most solid tours. And here is Angad. Makes no mistake. So there it is. Finishes off the 15.
Chima really stroked that one with authority. I'm assuming most likely that was a birdie putt, and that should sort of give him a bit more confidence with that picked up shot, and especially after a bogey on the 13th and the par on the 14th, of course, wouldn't make him very happy. As we take a look now at Jamal, this is Jamal's perhaps his birdie putt here on the 15th hole.
This man is so consistent. Consistent. He's like a machine. Now it's a par putt. Our television team ever vigilant. Yes.
No trouble there
Close down
for
the hatch, and
Jamal.
he is at 23 under. That's the record which Manu Gandha set in 2022. But unfortunately, Jamal's record will not go into the books with preferred lies this week. But nevertheless, an absolutely superb show so far. He still has 21 holes left in this tournament. And absolutely fabulous. Akshay, polishing that off. This must be feeling like an entire, like Jamal seems light years away. 6 shots away. What a fantastic performance. He has been so consistent. Just one bogey so far in 2 3/4 of the rounds. Awesome, absolutely. I mean, this is a brilliant. But the other man that I really have a lot of time for is this man now on the screen, Arjun Prasad. I call him as Mr. Consistent. The way he's been performing this season with a bunch of top tens. I think in about last 8 or 9 events or 10 events, he's missed a top 10 only once. But he's not won. So he would like to convert one of those top tens to one or win. What do you say, Mr. Bajaj?
So, I mean, no more coffee for you.
What?
You've just broken Shankar Mahadevan's record of breathless.
I'm trying to take a leaf out of your book, Rahul. I can't be as good as you in golf. At least let me get away with talking.
Arjun Prasad, of course, has played some of the most fantastically consistent golf over the past 2 years. And although I'm waiting for this man to break the shackles and go and win his event, and
I'm sure you know a lot about him.
when he does win that first event, I think there will be no stopping
Oh
him.
yes, I totally. He's made some huge changes to his lifestyle too this year. He was sharing a story a few weeks back with me. Absolutely lovely guy.
In fact, Arjun Prasad and Shaurya Bhattacharya are roomies for the year.
Oh wow!
Yes,
Well,
and
there you are. One always keeps learning.
so they've been doing a lot of hanging around together. I'm sure they've shared a biryani or two this week. So we take a look now, him coming from under that slope. It seems like Arjun hit a wedge there. That has come up fairly short off the green here on hole number 18.
His parents live in the NCR, but he moved out of his parents' house to be closer to the DLF golf course so that he could put in more practice, and it has paid rich dividends this year. A bunch of top tens all over the place, and I think
Is that the roomies
it's
playing
time for
together?
him. There you are, sure, yeah.
That's
another young man.
That's our
who's-
first look at Shaurya for the day. Just coming off a birdie on hole number 17. Had a good back nine there with birdies on hole number 10, 14 as well as 17. Currently at 6 under par for the day, 12 under for the tournament. And as you were asking me a question
Yes,
now,
about
sometime back,
Shaurya,
Swami,
yes.
and now that he's
I
on
mean,
the
what,
screen,
what has
this is when we
Shaurya
can
done
talk
in the
about
last, season or two? I mean, he's really flowered here.
I think one of the things that a lot of people probably don't know, and Shaurya doesn't get enough credit for, is his work ethic. And there's I've been working with Shaurya for quite a few years now, and I can promise you that he's got a very impressive work ethic, and that's what keeps him improving day after day, week after week, month after month, and year on year. And he's quite self-critical, I must say. He is quite quick to find out what he needs to work on next, and we're able to do that quite easily with him. And overall, having those, the sort of awareness that a player must have to keep moving on and never being satisfied. I think that's one of the things
That's it.
that
That's what a golfer should be. Never satisfied.
yes, and that's also something that I think I would say is commendable about him. And year on year, week on week, and that's what every sportsman athlete has to do. And anyone, I think, who wants to be excellent at anything that they do, be it art or skill or business or whatever it is that they do, you have to be able to take the pieces and improve them, year on year, week on week.
So there's Brajesh Kumar right in the heart of the green. I do remember Shaurya Rahul, having seen him at a couple of really international amateur events, and he was, quite solid there. His work ethic, even at that stage as an amateur, and quite young. I think that was about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, just after COVID, and he was like quite serious, and I think he must have been in his late teens or something. Now I think even now he's about 22, 23.
Correct.
So I think he's got a great future ahead of him. He could well be the next big guy that we are seeing because, he is actually moving consistently. There's really been no, kind of overnight limelight. So between him and Arjun Prasad, maybe they can keep pushing each other to greater heights.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. I think Arjun also has been sort of like a great friend to him, and somewhat of a mentor to as well, where he's been helping him, guiding him how to go ahead with his business. And I think that's really important to have someone around you whom you can play with, learn from, as well as have someone to look up to. Uh, so I think Arjun does a really good job of that, and Shaurya, of course, does a good job of respecting that.
And we've now got the split screen, the second screen, where Anka Chima, you can see as on the live one, Arjun Prasad gets ready to try and ensure that he doesn't give away anything here. Par now looks for the taking. Well, should be there.
I think that's a
On
pretty
the
good
18th.
shot by Arjun coming up from about good 20-25 yard shot of
The
the
second
green.
shot, actually, he left it quite short.
I think it has to do something with the lie of the
Maybe,
ball. I
yes,
think he was
correct.
in the rough.
No, we
I
didn't
don't
get to
think
see
he
the
made a
lie,
poor
correct.
swing.
Yes.
I think he just left it out there pretty much purposely because of the lie of the ball.
But if you notice, he was also pretty much low. He had to really kind of, I don't know whether he was in a swale or something.
I remember a couple of years ago, Swami, if you remember the Asian amateur.
Yes, Asia Pacific
That's
Amateur.
where the Asian amateur,
Yeah.
which happened in Thailand. That's where
Yes.
you, me, and Joy Chakravarti
Yes,
met.
and
We
then,
had
of
dinner
course-
together, and
Oh, yes.
that's the week I was there with
Shaurya.
Shaurya. Uh, so yeah, I think that's the tournament that you were talking about.
Yes, I was, yes, indeed. I think those kind of tournaments must be a great experience. And here is Shaurya just running away a shade more than he wanted.
Maybe a touch more aggressive than he should have been. He took more of a spinny aerial approach to that
He's
chip
actually
shot.
coming off a few birdies on the back nine, 3 birdies on the back nine in the last 8 holes. So maybe, the adrenaline also just a little bit. Would have loved to, but then 18th is not all that an easy hole. Not too many birdies out there today. In fact, of the top 20 odd players, nobody's got the birdie there. Of course, a few of them still left to, yet to play that.
It's a 408-yard uphill hole.
A quick look shows only Vishesh Sharma as a player who's birdied the 18th, no one else.
Vishesh Sharma, local lad, shooting 3 under par on the third round to be at 5 under for the tournament. Tie for 23rd position right now for Vishesh. Vishesh also a youngster going into his first year as a professional.
A lot of young talent, suddenly. Of course, some of them should now start winning on outside India.
Well, I think it's just a matter of time, and as we can tell, the quality of golf has become so good now out here on the PGTI that it's only a matter of time that all of these players are going to just go out and start winning tournaments abroad.
Just a little bit, Brajesh, is that it? Yeah, that's Brajesh. Tap in par. So that's the end of the day, the third round for Brajesh. Shaurya, 12 under.
Well, I think anyone who is currently at third position, which is 12 under par, would really have just an outside chance of winning this tournament. The only two people really pretty much running for the tournament as of right now is Jamal Hussain and Akshay Sharma. The rest of them are pretty much vying for the third position as of now.
That's right. I mean, even for Akshay, I mean, Jamal has to really make a lot of mistakes, a ton of mistakes for Akshay to catch up. And for the others, it has to be a total collapse from Jamal. Otherwise, he's so far ahead. Probably one of the most dominating performances this season. That would be a nice spot to go back home with. Yes, indeed.
Solid par there
Nice.
for Shaurya Bhattacharya.
I'm
In
sure the
fact,
lunch will taste well. The lunch will taste good.
I'm guessing it's going to be biryani.
Of course.
No prizes for
When
guessing
in
that.
Hyderabad, what else?
I'm not sure if they serve anything else over there in that city.
Oh, then I'm sure there's some lots and lots of different kind of food, and their sweets also are pretty good.
Sweets
Yeah.
are pretty good.
Yes, I mean, yeah, I don't. Yeah, they also have a lot of sweets.
Swami
in them.
dropping some pearls of wisdom in the city
Oh,
which is
man,
famous for
man,
its
I've got a
pearls.
sweet tooth. I look for sweets, I've got a sweet tooth. Don't tell my doctor.
We take a look now at Arjun. Arjun putting for par here on the 18. He's got an uphill putt. Pretty nice pitch there for him. He's got about 4 or 5 feet remaining for his par. This would be for Arjun to stay at 11 under par for the tournament. He's had a pretty good round today. Bogey free with birdies on hole number 2, 6, 13, 14, and the 17th. To stay bogey free and sign that scorecard. Arjun Prasad. And he will sign up a bogey-free card today, Arjun. In fact, Swami, what you were mentioning a few moments ago about Arjun that he's moved for the sake of his golf. I think it's very important for him to have sort of taken that step.
Absolutely.
Especially for what we do not realize is the amount of time that we spend traveling from one place to the other in a metropolitan city. We are basically stopping our time of recovery. We are taking away time to go to the gym to work out. As we take a look at the moment of the day,
We had 8 upsets in a row from the Devil Challenge to Double Ladder Short, right up to the championship in August with 18 in Polar and 12 in Telar to walk the back up the zone once again. Fortunately, it won't be. He is unlikely to make a bid for the big one today, the trophy itself. But nevertheless, a great run. If you keep knocking at the door, it has to open.
I think a couple of other youngsters that are really new there on the PGTI was check the top gear. You've got Anshul Kapoor, something very consistently on the tour. Have got when they see the cameras stopping, did not realize that the cameras were on them. So we have media team, social media
Yes,
team,
social media team, and they can look so serious.
Nikhil Kalan, sporting.
Actually, a wonderful team the PGTI has. They're now traveling from city to city, week after week. Not the easiest of jobs. I mean, you don't get to sleep in your own bed, but in hotel rooms, it is a tough life. But I'm
Absolutely.
sure a look at these lovely greens and this lovely golf course will make up at least somewhat for that.
I also think, Swami, that to the scoring, one of the greatest changes that has come about in the scoring has come because of the timing of the players. Players having to hit their shots within 30 seconds.
That's right.
I think
Yes,
is a
I
great
totally
change
agree with you.
because that just sort of reduces the amount of time that you're thinking and you've got to shoot the ball. And none of these players lack skill, right? So they all have the skill, but cutting off that extra thinking time actually gives them opportunity to trust their thoughts and play the shot that they want to play.
Absolutely.
Yuvraj
There's a different
Singh.
kind of a block, a different kind of a club with him, a rake.
Yuvraj seems to have found himself on the right side of the fairway here on hole number 18. Currently at 1 under par for the day, coming off at 9 under for the tournament. Currently at a tie for seventh position. Yuvraj Singh trying to gather his second top 10 finish of the second half of the season. So we take a look at
You're taking over my area of
Arjun
stats.
Sharma.
So Rahul, you're taking over my area of stats also. I know I can't play golf as well as you do. Oh, okay. Then he reveals, under his breath, that Yuvraj is also his student, like Shaurya. So he is so excited about both those boys doing so well this week.
Well, of course, it just
Yes, and
just
congratulations, Rahul. I mean, wonderful young men, both of them.
well, news flowing in that Akshay Sharma making a birdie on hole number 16 moves to 18 under par for the tournament and 5 shots away from Jamal Hussain, trying to close in that gap as much as possible. Manu Gandas coming up on the 18th. As we now call upon one of the secrets of Bombay that no one knew about, Shivas Nath.
Thank God he came to golf. Otherwise, Shahrukh and the others would have had to have a problem. Wonderful man, great sense of humor there, Shivas. Done a lot for golf. And always great to have him next to you in a commentator's box.
Well, thank you, Swami. Thank you, Rahul. Always good to be back in the hot seat. And things getting very interesting. Lovely to see Akshay sneaking up a bit, making things a little bit interesting, or at least in our minds for us, as Jamal seems to be on a tear, 23 under, 6 under for the day. And yeah, young Shaurya as well, bringing in a card of 6 under to sneak up to joint third with Cullen Joshi. With Cullen, of course, still on the course with a couple of holes to play.
I think apart from the fact that Jamal is running away, I think it's been a great tournament right behind him.
That said, we've been watching the 18th hole, and 18th hole itself is a very, very strong finishing hole. Uphill, 408 yards, bunch of bunkers as we saw on the fairway. So, and those fairways are the two parallel fairways, the 18th and the second, that run parallelly with the bunkers separating them, and both are fairly narrow fairways. But when this hole plays into that wind, it is quite a beast. Colin sizes up his putt on the 17th. 17th, a tremendous and a very interesting par 5, if I may add. Another elevated tee.
Birdie putt there for him.
Yes. So, the tee shot is pretty exacting, and there's a bit of trouble, around the second shot. Well, actually, around the first shot as well, because it's a kind of a peninsula landing area surrounded by water bodies on both sides.
There is. Nice finish there. A birdie to celebrate there. Good one.
Definitely a good one. That should put him in solitary third place. One ahead of Shaurya, 13 under.
Nice
And the
position.
birdie animation. And I'm kind of getting really fond of that little birdie raising his club. That's pretty
Indeed.
cute. I'm definitely a fan. Nice stroke. Shoulders, the head
Perfect.
still. Very well done. And there we have Yuvraj. alongside the tournament office.
We are talking about Shaurya and Arjun. Both of them are really feeding off each other. Arjun had that massive run of top tens, and Shaurya is not far behind. He actually had a win too this season. Shaurya won the SECL Chhattisgarh Open, and in the last, I think, about 8 or 9 starts, he's missed the top 10 only twice. And those were also not too bad at 13th and 17th. At the Kapildev Grand Thornton, 13th, and he was 17th at Mysore. And it's been a bunch of top 10s. And last 2 events, Kolar and Chennai, he's been the runner up.
That's a very, very good run, I must say, Swami.
Fantastic
And
runner.
things I would like to say could and should only get better for him going forward.
Oh, yes. And I'm sure with the DP World India Championships coming in, I'm sure many of these young men are looking forward to the playing alongside the likes of Rory McIlroy, Tommy Fleetwood, and the others, Shane Lowry, Victor Hovland, and so many other top stars.
Yeah, our very own Shubhankar Sharma also going to be back
Yes, and Veera
in
Lawat.
business. Yes, and Veera Lawat as well, who's a European Tour member.
Actually, I was speaking to him day before yesterday, and he said that was something that he's been looking forward to for the last few months now.
Yuvraj coming in from the bunker. And that he's clearly overshot the green, and between the green and the bunker there isn't really much room before you end up in the clubhouse. So good thing that he did end up in the trap. It's really nice to see how well the green, the first
There
cut, the
you
collar,
see.
the rough, all well defined.
That scroll at the bottom says PGTI has had events in Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, and golfers from all those 3 countries doing well on the Indian tour of late. Thangaraja winning last week, Jamal Hussain leading this week, and of course Subhash Tamang, of All India Amateur Champion, who's also now on the Pro Tour here. So the Indian PGTI Tour has not only done wonders for golf in our country, but also the neighborhood has benefited a lot from that.
Absolutely, it's really nice to see the PGTI becoming somewhat of a global tour. PGTI has also hosted events in Bangladesh, Nepal, and Sri Lanka, if I'm
Yes,
not mistaken.
indeed.
Yes. So, and it's good to see people from South Africa, other African countries, also come to ply their trade in on a PGTI. Europeans as well, some young golfers from the US. So it's very much a global destination.
Shivas, I've seen a lot of golf in Asia, having traveled a lot on with the likes of Jeev, Jyoti, Arjun, Natwal, and all. And here is Arjun, Yuvraj. What a fantastic! I mean, that's a stance which no one can forget. The way he gets ready.
Sadly for a par save. From the bunker, it looks like he missed the green, sent it to the right. I will not use that dreaded word, but I think that's exactly what transpired with that bunker shot. But a good chip. Hopefully he cleans the 6-footer up and walks away with the bogey.
So what I was saying was that I've seen a lot of golf here, and I must say that the PGTI is one of the most solid domestic tours. Of course, Japan and Korea have very good tours, but they also have a rich legacy of pro golf, and India has actually done very, very well over the last couple of decades to have such a solid tour. More than 35 crores, almost 35 crores of prize money available this season. And of course, uh, two European tour events in India. One, we've already had the Indian Open, and the DP World India Championships also coming up next month.
Well, it's definitely very exciting times for the PGTI, and from what we hear, things are likely to get better, and the prize money is likely to swell in the coming season.
Absolutely.
If not within this season as well, because
Well,
I'm
it's
told
already done hugely well this season.
No, I'm also
And
told.
Manu-
Oh, that's a great chip! Outstanding.
That was a lovely chip. A chip in there brings a smile to his face. A birdie,
Young
one
Manu.
of those rare birdies.
And the birdie
on
dance.
18th.
Yeah. And Manu expressionless, calm, little,
That's true. He is so understated.
assured, understated boy.
So understated.
Delightful little chip.
Listen, no fist pump, no jubilation. He's happy, yes, but he doesn't want to overdo it. Excellent finish there.
So, of course, in the background, on the top of our screen, we see their driving range and practice facility. The structure, the two-tire structures, of course, on the left side, and it's 250 to 75 yards netted. And on further left of that one is the short game facility where they have a putting green, a chipping, and a pitching green. So a really very, very well made facility. They have not compromised on that at all. They do understand that,
They've really made
building
it with
the
a lot
future.
of care. Yeah?
Yes, yes. In fact, one of the best youngsters in Indian golf, Sneha Singh, who
Yes.
you know is a product of the HGA.
There is Arjun. Oh,
That's a closing bogey. He will be disappointed with that.
drops a shot. Not a great thing to finish with a bogey, unfortunately for him.
And equally important is young Yuvraj. Now he's got that left for bogey after an errant second shot and an errant third shot. He can make amends with the flat stick now. Very important for him to remain at 9 under and no under for the day. Looks like a good stroke. No.
No.
That's a very disappointing closing double bogey. He is not going to be happy, and I understand that.
Tough finish there. Arjun and Manu walking off. Manu's hanging in there. He's now 12 under. Finishes with 6 under for the day, is it? Yes, 6 under for the day. He started at 6 under for 2 rounds and now 6 under on the third day. Moves to 12 under. A good job done today on the third day, the moving day.
Well, there we have it. Just a couple of groups now left on the course.
That's,
Angachima, of course, on the 17th, the par 5.
that's the lead one, the lead group. Angad Chima, Akshay, and Jamal Hussain. Par 5, I'm sure.
So you see that solitary tree in the center of the
Yes,
screen.
yes,
the
yeah.
tree is at the back there, and there's a little elevation, that hillock, which has also got rock formations. And it's a very interesting hole because you have the water body on the left side, and on the right of the green and right bunker from where we saw Angad play, there's a filtration plant where again it's kind of a penalty area as well. So it's you got to have two very precise shots to get it there. Of course, it plays completely differently if it played as a 3-shot hole.
Pretty tough day for Angad.
Yes, he won't be happy. That's for
3
sure.
bogeys and a quad. He is 5 over on a day when people are shooting 4, 5, and 6 under. Angad is 5 over. Very, very uncharacteristic. Because he's quite a solid player. That one hole actually ruining his entire card. Two-time champion this year. He's got one more day, 2 more holes and 1 more day to pick up some pieces.
Yes. Well, speaking of ruining the card, even we had Divyanshu Bajaj on the 15th make an 8, a quadruple. Because that's where he sent 2 balls out of bounds with his driver, and then he finally hit an iron off the tee. So that's again where it is, and that's this very same hole which Angad made an 8 as well. So that hole has taken its pound of flesh and eaten up a few of these boys.
Good observation there, Shivas. And there is that man, the man in absolutely scintillating form, Jamal Hussain, now ready for his birdie putt. It'll be a par for him, but still he leads by a mile. Akshay?
5 shots ahead of Akshay. Couple of holes to play.
Luxe would be fancying, hoping to close in a shot or two, a shot and two if he's lucky. Golfers are eternal optimists, no matter what the gap between them and the leaders is. A birdie putt here
Oh,
would suddenly bring
absolutely.
him four.
We've seen strange things happen. One of them
Absolutely.
struggles at the start, out of the blocks. The other one's on a tear, 3-4 shot swing, and game on. That's of course the beauty of the sport, or any sport for that matter. It's anyone's day.
Birdie putt there for Luxe now.
No mistake there. Well done. Solid.
So
Very
19 under, 4 behind now. Jamal, after being 6, he's 4 behind. Desperately trying to close that gap. And Jamal now has a par putt. And the 18th is not an easy one. It's not yielded many birdies except for that chip in from Manu Gandas. An absolutely wonderful chip in.
Oh yes, that was a tremendous chip. Very well played. Soft hands. Perfect speed. Perfect line. And Angad now trying to save par from about 2.5 feet away. My God, that's just a horrible, horrible day for this young man. Finishing the day
Nothing
6 over.
going right. Nothing going right for Angad. Jamal, I'm sure he's trying to blank out that miss by Angad. He needs to get this up.
Yep. A couple of feet away.
Par putt.
Safe par. Well done.
Okay,
No
so
mistake
he
there.
stays there. Just 4 ahead. One more hole to go on the third day of
And you see Angad still
Telangana
staring down
Golconda
the
Masters.
green, staring down the flag. Ruining his...
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
What brings you to a standstill? Mountains, lakes and waterfalls. Something that inspires you. Culture, history. People. Experience the warmth. Listen to the story. Smile along in celebrations. Festivals. Food. Art. Where else can you find all of this? Telangana. Come and experience the new state of India.
There you were. It said Telangana Zarur Ana. And we can absolutely confirm that that's a very valid and enjoyable invitation to have. Great golfing destination. As we said, aside from the HGA, you also have Boulder Hills, you have Wooty, both terrific courses. And then, of course, it's a delight in terms of the food and the culture and the history.
Yes, I mean it's a state that's got a lot to offer.
तो यही है खाना और golf. हम भी नवाबों के शौक रखते हैं.
Indeed, Shivas, I can say that about you with great confirmation. I can confirm that. Colin Joshi on the 18th now.
It's amazing how many of them have been coming up short, Swami. We've seen so many of them. Every group, there's one or two of them chipping
I
from
assume,
the
if they can't
short
get
area.
if they can't get that approach in.
That looks very nice. Very nice indeed.
Okay,
3 feet
he's
away.
right there.
Good hands.
Should get his father. A tough closing hole, nevertheless.
As Cullen has, been steady and sure, and he's 4 under for the day. He snuck up to 13 under in solitary position, third position. Good to see Shore and Manu snapping on his heels. On the round of the day so far, belonging to Vishav Pratap Singh Gill, who had actually got his way down to 8 under and then sadly bogeyed the last hole. Chika, good to see him out there in the top 10. Another very hard worker. Another tremendous story. The prodigy of Vijay Devecha, stablemate of Anirban Lahiri and Abhishek Jha. Hard worker, super fit.
There's a birdie putt there. Gaurav Pratap Singh.
Yes, he does. Lovely. Well, as my friend Rahul Bajaj would say, GPS had the GPS right. Got the
But it's not been a great day for him. Only one birdie right at the start of the second hole, and then it's been like 2 bogeys and a double bogey.
and the split screen showing young Sharma sending one off the tee.
That's the final group on the 18th now. Akshay had the honor after his birdie on the 17th, which brought him closer to Jamal, if you can say that. 4 shots, if you can call that as close. He's now close.
In my opinion, 4 shots, as you were talking, is achievable. It is not an
certainly.
insurmountable lead.
No question about it.
He's lost this to the right, and I'm a little concerned. There is a water hazard there. I hope he should have enough to carry that. But obviously, it wasn't a good drive, but that will leave a longish second shot in. Oh, no, that's again young Divyanshu on the left side of our screen. Missing that and makes a bogey. So clearly the quadruple he made on the 15th, absolutely derailing his round and his spirits.
Pankaj Chima on live 2.
Maranga needs a good finish here. Come on, young man. Nice drive. Yeah, that's a good looking swing. Staring it down. No problem there, I believe.
Looking back. I wonder what he's looking back.
Well, there we have Kampa on our screen as well. Kampa making a comeback into the Indian market. Thank you for being a tour partner of the PGTI. The delightful beverages and water which they've recently introduced into the market.
Current par putt to close the day. He is 4 under and sole third.
Yeah, nicely quiet stroke, and he should be on his way. Well
No
done.
mistakes there.
No mistake there. Exactly right. So he's finishes his round at 13 under for 3 rounds, and that should be playing in the final group tomorrow. Enough to get into that and then do all the heavy lifting tomorrow. So the final group making its way now to the 18th fairway. This 408-yard uphill par 4, likely playing into the wind as we speak. And we've seen the solitary birdie from Manu Gandas on the 18th. And
no, there was another one.
There was another one.
Vishesh, young Vishesh, rookie. So just 2 birdies so far in the entire day on the 18th. And we now have the final group there on the 18th. I'm sure Jamal would be intent or will be just focusing on trying to keep his lead of 4 at 4? Would like to save a par here and not allow Akshay Kumar to get any closer.
I'm most interested to see where his drive ended up because he, came out of that a bit and he wasn't happy. I think he was fortunate enough to carry the water, but he definitely wasn't happy. And it's also very important that he's hitting a second shot from the short stuff because the rough is a bit juicy and it is a bit difficult to control the carry and the spin hitting out of those heavier lines.
There you are, a homer cam hole.
The Homer Rover. There we have it. Beautiful tree lined fairways. This, of course, an open part of the course. So there you see the two parallel fairways. The one on the right is the second hole. Well, the left of our screen. Of course, if you're playing the hole, it's the one on the right. And the one in the bang middle of the screen is the 18th fairway. And as you can see, they are not very wide at all.
No, not at all.
In fact, the bunker dividing the two fairways is probably the widest part of that entire expanse of land. But great visuals, great camera work. And on this particular hole, most of the players tend to favor the little right side of the fairway because, unknown to most, where the old driving range was, which is on the higher part of the left side of the 18th fairway, it's actually out of bounds. So you don't want to be getting after it and tugging it a bit and ending up with a bit of trouble on the left side. From the fairway trap. Angad seems to be just staring at it, not quite sure where it's ended up. It's so nice to see the water, the rocks, the different gradients of grass, the rough, the first cut. Visually absolutely delightful. So there we have Jamal, 23 under. Hitting up to this elevated par 4, the green. So as you can see, the new clubhouse has its dining hall, the lounge, the open decks, beautiful changing in locker rooms, multi-sports, badminton, squash. That said and done, a lot of golf clubs and sports clubs have also now set up paddle and pickleball courts. It's become a very popular sport.
Catering for non-golfers. And here, talking of golfers, a crucial shot for Akshay.
Seems to come out a bit low and hot. Doesn't seem to be too happy with that. And there you have it as they find their way up towards the green. A very quick recap. Jamal at 23 under for the tournament and 6 under for the day.
सॉरी सर, माय मिस्टेक।
पर हम भी जिद्दी है।
मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है। जिद क्या पावाली, जिद है जिद क्या पावाली, जिद है जिद क्या पावाली, जिद।
Akshay walking in. I think he's in the bunker.
Yes, he wasn't pleased with his second shot at all. It did come out very, very low. I believe a little thin or a groove too low on the club face. And we've seen a lot of them coming up short. So that's the clubhouse and the restaurant that we saw surrounding the 18 green.
He can't afford to drop a shot here. Needs to make sure that he gets home in two. After doing all that hard work of picking up those birdies in the last couple of holes.
Jamal too is short and not short and left, but definitely on the left side. He's going to be pitching up from the, well, I wouldn't say the deep rough, but definitely there'll be a bit of grass he'll have to contend with.
It's not easy for Jamal either.
Well, let's see what he's got here. A bit of green to play with, so that's a good thing. And he has left himself some work.
Oh, that's
good
a lot of
12, 13 feet
That's not
short.
some. That's a lot of work.
So definitely a window, if I may add, for young Akshay. Make an up and down.
But he has to get through the window.
Yes, of course. Well, he's reasonably lean and fit. Now let's see what size the window is. Of course, that notwithstanding, Jamal still has that putt to make for par. Well, I love the way we can sit and figure out all the permutations and combinations, but while these boys do all the heavy lifting. All right, let's see what he does. Has he given it enough? It's maybe a bit too much, but 6 feet away, not too bad. Now you have Angad. That will be his birdie opportunity, I believe. He'll be quite happy to get off the course, and he's just not had a nice day. A lot of missed putts, lot of missed opportunities, and definitely a couple of mistakes as well. Yeah, leaves himself about 18 inches away. So HGA, of course, being a very good golf course, 22-year-old course, improving literally year on year. Absolutely fabulous job from the members and their management, and this course keeps improving year on year. Absolutely fabulous property from what back in the day was just a mere jungle, a marsh, and somewhat of an unofficial dumping ground. So kudos to the government for supporting.
And the club.
Yes, of course, for supporting the vision of HGA. Great effort.
Look at the balcony. Nice clubhouse with a wonderful balcony.
Indeed. And as we were talking, having three really nice golf courses there in the HGA, Boulder Hills and Wooty, it sort of sets up a nice venue or a city for a golf trip because you have it all. good golf courses, good food, bit of history for those who are interested in getting a bit of sightseeing as well. So you have Jamal trying to say par. Has he done enough? Indeed.
wow.
Indeed.
That
That
is
huge.
sometimes pars are even better than birdies. I mean, he knows that this is a big par, and that's going to put added pressure on Akshay.
I couldn't agree more because that was a very important putt to stay at 23 under.
The normally, quiet, underplayed Jamal knows he was very excited. The fist pump, and wow, that was fantastic.
And now Akshay, of course, has this 6-7 footer to stay 4 behind going into the final round.
A par putt, a crucial par putt, a very important one for Akshay. He knows that this is the difference between going back home with a 4-shot deficit or a 5-shot one.
Absolutely, a very, very important putt. And he makes it no mistake there.
Wonderful.
And we saw that
Two
little fist
good
pump
putts
from him
right
as
at
well.
the end.
So this should, Swami, be a very good contest tomorrow. 4 shots
Yes.
separating these two boys. And of course, dare I say, Akshay 6 ahead of Cullen. And that means Cullen is 10 back of Jamal.
All that Akshay needs is a fast start today. A couple of birdies at the beginning, and Jamal not getting them or doing him a favor by dropping a shot or two, and Akshay will be in the mix.
Angad cleaning up from a 1.5 feet for his par.
There it is. So end of the third day's play.
Caps are off, the gloves are off, the handshakes are done. Akshay is pleased, Jamal is pleased. They're looking forward to matching up again tomorrow. And sadly, Angad, of course, has gone backwards on what is called moving day. Not the right
Jamal
way to
is
move.
still talking about his birdie putt, or his par putt rather.
No, that was definitely a very big putt. I
Big
mean, all of 12 to 14 feet. And it's just also something that kept the momentum going, giving up a shot on the very last hole.
Yes,
it just changes the flavor and the mood.
Difference when you come back in the morning.
Absolutely. He'll enjoy his lunch, he'll enjoy his sleep, and then, of course, wake up in a different frame of mind, holding on to a 4-shot lead.
It's still lunchtime. I'm sure the biryani is waiting for him.
Well, I'm sure. As the leader of the tournament, he absolutely deserves the best, and why not? So there we are. That's pretty much end of day 3.
Look at the solar panels on top of the clubhouse.
Great
job.
They've done a terrific job, and we wish them the best. And of course, we look forward to having our viewers back tomorrow for a great contest. Let's see what Jamal can do. Let's see if Akshay can hunt him down, and let's see from the younger set between Cullen, Shaurya, Manu, Arjun Prasad, if any of them can put in a really low round and use their best to put a little bit of pressure. So that's your leaderboard for the day. And here we are, Swami, Rahul Bajaj, and myself. Delighted to be.
One quick look at the leaderboard. Jamal Hussain at 23 under, which is would have been a new record, but for the preferred lies which is being used. So he is 4 shots clear of Akshay Sharma at 19 under, Kalin Joshi at 13 under, Shaurya Bhattacharya 6 under for the day at 12 under, Manu Gandas 12 under. So both of them share the 4th place. Arjun Prasad, the ever consistent, at 11 under. Looking forward to another top 10. Vishwa Pratap Singh Gill, who had a fine run in the middle of the round with 5 birdies in 6 holes, is at 9 under. Chika Rangappa, that's a welcome addition there, at 8 under alongside Arjun Sharma and young Anshul Kaptial. So that is a fantastic leaderboard. Amardeep Malik is just outside top 10 at 7 under.
So definitely makes for an interesting day tomorrow. Let's hope the conditions are as good as they were today. Bit of breeze, bit of excitement, and sublime golf. Great visuals of the city as well.